You didn't quit. You're really like against all odds. You're doing something that no one in the family's done, that none of your friends have done.
I'm just gonna say the thing you're not supposed to say.
Whatever is mine is looking for me.
You have to know what road to take to get to your final destination.
Everything that you ever wanted is on the other side of fear.
Hello, good evening. So I am back to react to this follow-up video. It seems like, based off of my research, I summarized the video, and it seems like Evelyn and Shanice decided to do a follow-up episode to recap the episode with the game that was titled Game Changer. They get raw and unfiltered about the realities of single motherhood. So I thought I would react. I I don't know if I'll watch the whole thing because it's an hour long. Should I watch the hour long? Do y'all want to watch the hour long video? Oh my gosh, I don't even have it pulled up. Let me pull it up. How y'all doing? Y'all all right? We good? I mean, I feel like that's awful to ask considering what's going on outside, everything that's going on in the world. I feel like it's a stupid question. It's bad. Okay, I had to change my auto insurance. I had to change my health insurance. The only thing that I was able to catch a break on was property taxes because thank God I don't own a house because them property taxes, pray for homeowners, okay? Them property taxes are something else. Okay? Pray for the homeowners and then also anyone that owns a car. I mean, everything just going up. So, okay, I think I'm ready. Oh, thank you. Y'all are so sweet. Thank you. Okay. So let's get into this. Hopefully, it's better than what we saw. Hold on, let me see if I can summarize it. Y'all, I be cheating because sometimes I can't get through to the whole thing. This is how I be cheating, y'all. It's AI, YouTube. It's not me, y'all. It's AI, but it's YouTube. It's Google. It's just yeah.
And we are here. We are in a new space.
Oh shit.
We are guys. Can you? I mean, we're really raising the bar on this. Like, we're in a new space. We have done a lot to this space. We were just laughing off camera, talking about the journey of trying to get this in order.
Yeah, no, it was literally like a picker upper, and we were waiting for season 1 to end so that we can move in and get everything situated. And I'm excited.
You're the excited
I'm
one.
so excited.
What you guys may or may not know. So, when we were shooting the first season and when we came up with the idea of wanting to do this podcast,
Mhm.
this mother-daughter podcast, that it was actually in my home. I don't know if we ever fully talked about that, but we were shooting in my home and it was challenging at the moment because I have a busy house. As you guys may know, I have dogs
The
and
TV.
the TV downstairs or Blaze is there. So for us to be in a quiet space with no distractions is great.
No, the dogs, you hear Blaze. Sometimes we're like, hold on, we hear Blaze downstairs. So no, we graduated.
We did. We graduated.
It was I feel like it was very personal, obviously, because it's my life. And I think that that was the first truly moment that I had shared publicly.
Yeah.
Like so close to my heart. I mean, I've shared other things, but nothing amounted to that. And just to talk about, what went wrong, why things went wrong, just to talk about our son. Because obviously he's my world, So it was very personal, it was very reflective,
Yeah.
and I played it back and I watched.
Yeah. She is stressed. Okay. Everybody keeps saying, why does Shanice look older than her mother? She is stressed. And it really does seem like Shanice has that anxious, uh, social anxiety type of personality. That's why y'all got me looking into her zodiac. I just want to see what is her zodiac sign. She's a stressor, you know? Have you ever met those people that be stressing? Oh, she's a Gemini. I've never seen a Gemini act like this. I gotta look at her full birth natal chart. She kind of reminds me, no shade, y'all, don't come at me sideways, but she kind of remind me of Virgos. Y'all be stressing a lot. Y'all be anxious and stressful and um anxious and overthink. That's kind of what she remind me of, but she surprisingly she's a Gemini. No shade to the Virgos, but y'all are anal about little things, and I that's what Shanice gives me. So like she's anal for the little things because she likes organization, structure. She likes things to be done a certain way, and if you've ever dealt with a Virgo, if things are not done a certain way, they stress, they have anxiety, and it's real. But for what they're stressing about, you're like, girl, you're gonna give yourself a heart attack. Chill. Every Virgo needs an Aries. You do. So we can come in and tell you to lay off of that stress because why we stressing? You need an Aries. My best friend's a Virgo, so
watched it, and when you're in certain moments, you think about them differently, but I had like the opportunity to watch it like everybody else. And so I don't know, it was interesting. I think it was brave. I think it was brave of me. You
yeah.
know what I mean? And it's like, hey, this is what it is. This is who
Well,
we are. And I don't know. That episode did good. It was a great. I
That
thought it was a
episode, I
good
mean, I'm not
episode.
surprised that the episode did great. I
Yeah.
think most of the world's well, people that are watching the podcast and know your life, and obviously, Shanice had a baby, this, that, or whatever by game. I think that they were waiting on it, right? It's
Yeah.
like they're having all these guests on. Where is he?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think it happened right on time. It was interesting. I don't really read comments. I have been in the game long enough to not go down the rabbit hole and read anything because I feel like years ago I did, and this was like many moons ago, like, but I don't anymore because I don't like to allow certain energy into like my life, because sometimes you could read things and it's heavy or whatever. But I found it interesting that a lot of people, because you have friends and people that send you comments and stuff like that, everybody wanted to give Shanice the Sierra prayer. So how do you feel about that? It was
Please. I'm begging. I need all hands on deck with the Sierra prayer. I think I am deserving of
yeah.
it. I love it. Those people I feel like truly seen.
okay. Everybody wants to see Sierra prayer, but no one wants to do the work that Sierra did. Did y'all skip the part? I mean, y'all need to go back and rewatch Sierra in the interviews that she conducted. She talks about the prayer, but she also talks about the work that she did. First of all, she was single for a while. She kept to herself for a little while. She was traveling. I think she even talked about how she had conversations with her dad. She kind of kept to herself a little bit. She did a lot of reflection and introspection about her earlier choices and decisions. And this is something I'm noticing with the girlies. Y'all don't want to do that. Y'all don't want to sit by yourself long enough because sometimes I think women think that when they sit alone, they're not sitting with something they're not sitting with themselves in a way that they see valuable. A lot of times when I see women that struggle with sitting with themselves, they don't see themselves as valuable enough to sit alone, which blows me because I'm just like, but you'll go sit with a man like the game who's not valuable to anyone at all because he creates chaos and destruction. He creates broken homes. You'll go sit with him, but you won't sit with yourself because you don't see yourself as worthy or valuable enough to sit alone. But you see the game as valuable, worthy. You gave him a child. That's what I'm not understanding with the girls. That's what I'm not getting. So here we have Shanice. And we're gonna get into it because I think she talks about how she wants to date again.
the situation. You know what I mean? But I'm praying the
Yeah.
Ciara prayer on myself.
I mean, listen, I've been praying. I have the same prayer actually.
I need the Ciara prayer.
Yeah.
No, I think that I'm deserving, and I'm just waiting for my moment to shine.
Yeah, no, you do, but it was a lot of that, you know.
Yeah.
I also there was someone else sent me this comment, but it was funny. Someone was like, Shanice could never date someone her age. You know, you've always been an old soul, right? So it makes sense as to why you tend to gravitate towards someone older. But I think that episode, people understood that more. Like, you know what? She's very mature and she's very poised. And
Yeah.
yeah, so
I think that I mean, obviously, but I've always dated older guys. Like Zad was 12 years older
I
than me, and I was what 20 when we met. You
yeah.
know what I mean? I've always dated older guys, whether it be 8, 10, 12 years. So because I've always been more mature, but now that I'm a little bit older, I'm like, I think my age would be more suitable. Because I just start to think like you want to grow old with someone, and
Yeah.
then they're
Yeah.
older already.
Yeah.
You know how you think?
Mhm.
There
That just tells me that the game has traumatized her from dating older men. So now she's wanting to date more around her age.
was actually one thing I did want to clear up that I kept on seeing.
But
So people were like, because a few blogs had picked it up, and they were like, "Is she the only one that didn't know he was a felon?" Did you see
mm,
that?
I did, but again, it was so
Evelyn kills me because she tries to make it seem like she not watching the blogs and she not looking to see what people are saying, but she definitely watching to see what people are saying. She cares. She wants to know. Partially because it's part of the business. It's the whole reason why you guys are sitting down doing this follow-up episode. You've seen the viral posts, you've seen the blogs, you've seen the comments, you've seen the outrage, the shock, you've seen TikTok. Come on, you've seen it. Can we just be real about that?
much going on with that episode that I can't give it energy. So
That was a
what was
popular
it?
one, right? Like as if I didn't know. And it's funny because people really don't know me, which is great because we have this podcast. And I think now people are just starting to get to know my personality. They kind of just knew me on the surface. My humor is dry.
Mhm.
It's dry, it's sarcastic. Like you're the jokey one.
Yeah.
That's not me. So when I had positioned the question and I was like, "Are you a felon?" I was just being sarcastic and more so asking it from a sense like a host.
Now, girl, you know she is not about to sit up here and play in our face like this. Girl, that was you being in complete shock. I know she's not about to sit up here and try to spin it like, oh, I was just being funny. Girl, you did not know. You did not know.
To a guest,
My
not
nephew.
necessarily like someone I know personally,
Mhm.
So, like you, for instance, I
So
asked you a
you
question.
knew, you were clear on that.
That's like saying, the
And your mama's asking you, like, so you knew? They don't seem the brightest. They don't seem the smartest to me because if that's the case, why is your mom asking you in a way as if she didn't even know that you knew because of the way that you responded?
the sky is not blue. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, obviously. And then I'm like, well, how many felonies do you have? Blaze is going to ask. So it was more out of sarcasm, not necessarily coming from the unknown,
Yeah.
And I just found that to be funny because I can see how it can get misinterpreted.
Yeah, I think I'm sure what you saw and people are thinking, oh, okay, so she went and had a child from this person and has no idea
About his
about
run-ins
his
with the
history,
law.
which I feel like, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs, but I can't say we're shocked.
No, and I don't care, by the way. Like stuff like that doesn't bother me. I feel like we all have a past in whatever place, that is and whatever journeys we have. So like stuff like that doesn't bother me. So I was jokingly asking, but
Yeah.
it got misinterpreted.
Yeah.
So
I think what's good too is
It definitely bothers her. She was very much embarrassed. She needs to stop sitting up here trying to play the cleanup woman. Listen, and see, I said this with Brittany Renner. Ladies, please make peace with your past and your choices. Good, bad, and indifferent. That is the only way you're going to be happy in this world, okay? In this lifetime. It's not about us passing judgment or other people passing judgment on you. It's truly about you finding peace with it. I don't care how you find the peace with it. You just need to find the peace with your choices and your decisions in your life. Otherwise, you will be a miserable person. You will never be happy. And it's because you can't accept what you cannot change. You're living in regret every day. How are you going to be happy with that? So make peace with it. And people who make peace with things own it. They own it. So, Shanice, I'm sorry, but I'm not buying this at all. At all, at all, at all. And then how can you make better choices in men if you can't even own up the mistakes that you made from the last man that you got done dealing with? You just gonna go right out and make the same mistake again. If you can't even just be real with yourself. And then it was a choice to keep that part in the episode. Who edited the episode? Did y'all watch the episode before you posted the video? You made it public? You and your mother, y'all could have cut that out. We didn't the public didn't even have to know about that. But I don't know. I wonder what their production team, what that actually looks like. Do you have someone at the editor's table that didn't think, that's not a good look. We should edit that out. We should cut that out. Don't try to put it on us like we misread your body language. It was in your face, it was in your energy, it was your body and how you was just positioned and you look like that. Like that didn't give joke. That gave this really threw me off. Like what? It gave you were shocked. That's what it gave.
Is you can also, I think that to me, the conversation was not only powerful, but the fact that both of you were able to sit there and have a real discussion is important because I feel like you can use your life as a teaching tool sometime. Like we don't have it all figured out all the
I'm gonna be honest with you. The reason why Shanice looks older than her mother is because she has energy vampires around her. Shanice, if you look at some of the clips from their reality show that they have together. Shanice is the type of person where she's an empath. She wants to heal, she wants to fix, and she wants to save. She looks older because she's around energy vampires where she's overextending herself to the point where she's draining her own life force. And so it's making her look older than what she truly is. I'm telling you, if she were to cut off the energy vampires, she would look more youthful in her appearance. And one of her biggest energy vampires is her mother that she is doing business with. She calls her best friend. I mean, it's because she has people draining her energy. That's what happens when you let people, jobs even, drain your energy. You're going to start to age like that. You're just going to take on a heavier, and really, it's just a heavier energy. I don't even think it's anything physical. And then Evelyn, she's the type that takes other people's energy, so that's probably why she looked younger. So it's just backwards. She is a people pleaser. There was this video, I may even pull it up to show you, where she is very empathetic when it comes to her mother and her problems and the things that she goes through. There was an episode where she talked about how she was most likely going to miscarry. And you should have seen Shanice's face. She instantly felt the impact of what her mother was going through. And you could tell that she just soaks up whatever a person is going through. And she wants to be there. She wants to fix. She wants to save. She wants to please. And it's just aging her. So listen, if you don't want to age, stop people pleasing. Because that's basically what it is. And stop overextending your energy and stop wanting to fix and save and help everybody. Save some life force energy because that's what that is for yourself.
time,
Yeah.
so for you to be open and sit down and say, I went about this the wrong way and this is what I thought and I made certain decisions. Like who doesn't do that,
Yeah.
especially when you become a single mom, right? When you become a single mom, most people that are single parents do not go into a situation hoping to be a single parent.
Mm.
It happens,
Hmm.
and you deal with it the best way you know how, right? You don't sometimes you may feel like you're not doing it right, or am I giving my kid all the things that he or she needs? But nobody, I didn't want to be a single mom,
Yeah.
especially even with Leo, even more so because I'm now a little bit older, but then things happen and you have to do what you have to do. So just as your mom, because this is something else, I never I know how hard it is to be a single mom. So you never want your kid to go through the same thing. Of
Yeah.
course, I want you married. I want you in a relate. I want all of that for you because I'm like, I know how hard it is. But you're doing a great job with the circumstance. And I do.
I'm sorry. Okay. So this isn't going to be for all single mothers, but based off of what I've seen with Evelyn and Shanice. And one thing that I did write down was Evelyn was too busy chasing men and didn't raise her daughter. Her daughter followed her footsteps because that's the example she set. So the I guess the lesson in that is if you're not teaching your kids or your kids are watching. Okay. So they're going to walk right into your footsteps. If you're not talking to them, teaching them, and showing them the right way, then they're just going to follow in whatever footsteps, good or bad and indifferent. They're just going to follow in those footsteps. And I believe that that's what happened to Shanice. Now, with them speaking on single motherhood, stating that it just happens, to me, these two women are not victims because they are subconsciously attracted to men that are chaotic and they create chaotic, drama filled dynamics. They create broken homes. You can't sit here and say it just happens when you have a track record. And let's just get into the track record. Let's switch gears here because I pulled it up. Let's get into Evelyn's dating history because she's saying that it just happens. And I don't know if you know about her son's father, but he already created at least one single mother before Evelyn got with him. And then now I don't know how many single mothers he's created since Evelyn. But she got with him, and I'm just like, how did that just happen when this man is showing you that he doesn't stay with the women that he impregnates? That doesn't make any sense to me. Shanice, same thing. Why it just doesn't happen when you've seen this man and you've seen his track record. He created two broken homes before he got to you. How did that just happen? Things like that just don't happen. You're subconsciously attracted to men who create broken homes. So you're not truly a victim. You're a victim of what you're attracted to, maybe, but you're not truly a victim of, oh, it just happens. It didn't. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. It didn't just happen. You need to look at what you're attracted to. And I mean, look, do I need to pull it up? Do I need to pull up Carl? Do I need to pull up the game? This man has a star tatted on his face. And this is the thing, like I'm not saying that you have to be judgmental and hold things against people, but you do need to be judging by discerning someone. And the first thing that you can look at is how a person dresses and how they carry themselves. A man with a star on his face, I mean, let's be so for real. A man with a star on his face, I would not take serious at all. And then to still have a star on your face and you could get it removed because you have the funds to do so and you choose not to do it, that's a choice too. So I don't really see Evelyn and Shanice as victims when it comes to motherhood. I'm sorry. I mean, by the time the men they chose got to them, there were clear signs, clear signs. You are attracted, and this is just the truth, and I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this, okay? You're attracted to men that create single mothers, and you need to unpack that. You are subconsciously attracted to men who create single mothers because that's what women need to be real about. That's what a lot of women need to be real about. You are attracted to men who create single mothers. That's it. Cardi B, prime example. She's attracted to men who create single mothers. So you can't just say it just happened. It didn't just happen. You're subconsciously attracted to men who create single mothers. At that point, it's a choice.
Evelyn Lozada has been involved in several high-profile romances, and many of her relationships have been full of drama. She believes the things she experiences have a lot to do with her childhood. She was born in the Bronx, New York, as the youngest of two children. She and her older sister have different fathers, and Evelyn revealed on an episode of her reality show, Live in Lozada, that her parents split up when she was 2. Evelyn said her family has a long history of teenage pregnancies and uninvolved fathers. Evelyn fell into
So this is generational. I haven't even watched this. This is generational. This is generational. So she comes from a family that's attracted to men who make single mothers, who create single mothers. So that means, and this is what a lot of people don't understand, psychologically, that means that there is an emotional pattern within her family among the women that they are just attached to. It's an emotional pattern. Most likely it started with Evelyn's mother, and then it was passed down to Evelyn, and then that same emotional pattern was also passed down to Shanice. Now, what could this emotional pattern be? Well, first of all, just based off of what I've seen with the game and Carl, because I watched both of the episodes. I watched the game and I watched Carl. They're not emotionally available at all. So they know how to attract a woman. I said this in my last video. They know how to attract a woman, but they don't know how to sustain a relationship. They don't know how to be vulnerable. They don't know how to be emotionally available. So they're not going to stick around. They're not going to stay around. And that's the emotional pattern, most likely, that is generational within their family. And the women carry that. And they carry it and they pass it down, most likely just based off of how they raised their kids or their daughters. When it comes to Shanice, Evelyn is not even emotionally available. So it's not shocking to me that she went out and she found a man, she had a baby by a man that is just like her mother, which is not emotionally available. I mean, I constantly see comments from women saying, "Oh my gosh, Evelyn is just so unaware of her daughter and holding space for her emotions." And most likely it's because, well, Evelyn's mother didn't do that, and Evelyn's mother's mother didn't do that. So there's an emotional pattern that's generational that is being passed down from each woman, and it's going to take one woman to break that emotional pattern. But unfortunately, it seems like they're going to pass that pattern down to their sons. It's never ending. I noticed that when it comes to the game, Evelyn and Shanice, they talk about legacy, 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 but they're passing down that emotional instability. There's no solid foundation. Shanice's son won't have that because their fathers are kind of in and out, in and out, in and out. So there's no real stability there. So it's going to be passed down again and again and again. It's going to take one person within the family to break that cycle, because if not, it's just going to continue on and on and on. They can have all the money in the world, they can have the fame, they can have the status and all of that. That's great, but emotionally, they're still in survival mode. Evelyn is still emotionally in the Bronx, and we're going to get into that too.
into those same patterns when she got pregnant at the age of 16. In June 1993, she gave birth to her daughter, Shanice Hairston. She told Global Grind she committed her life to raising her daughter, and there's no doubt her daughter is beautiful with a good head on her shoulders. But most people are way more interested in the identity of Evelyn's baby daddy. In a 2012 tweet, she described Shanice's dad as, quote, some dude from Brooklyn. Pictures of him have been shared online, and some online users
I have not even watched this. I have not even watched this. It's so crazy how I'm watching this blind, because I'm just going off of what I've seen. And I know nothing about Evelyn's first, well, I guess Shanice's father. I know nothing about their relationship. I only watched Evelyn when it came to Ocho Cinco, Carl, and I don't know, just her interactions on Basketball Wives. So to know that it went as far back as Shanice's dad, it's not shocking to me, but it's still shocking to me. So this is why I'm telling you, y'all need to get into that Patreon video that I posted. It's called pattern recognition, because typically if you keep encountering and experiencing the same thing over and over and over again, you're out here dating and you keep bumping into the same guy, it seems like you need to check out that video so that you can break that cycle and get out of that loop, so that you won't keep meeting the same type of guy over and over and over again.
believe his name is Jerry Hairston. It's unclear who Evelyn dated after ending her relationship with her daughter's
Oh, she
father,
dated a
but we
married
do
man?
know that in 1999, she had a 6-month relationship with former NBA player Kenny Anderson. Kenny was
Another man that's emotionally unavailable. A married man is not going to be emotionally available.
married to Tammy Roman at the time, and Evelyn came clean about their affair during an episode of Basketball Wives. Evelyn said they were only intimate 2 times during that 6-month period, and she insisted she didn't even know he was married. This led to the infamous altercation where she called Tammy a non-mother factor. The same year she met Kenny, Evelyn also met professional basketball player Antoine Walker. At the time, he was playing for the Boston Celtics. Heading into the 1999-2000 season, his salary was bumped from $1.6 million to $9 million, and Evelyn was right there to enjoy his success. Evelyn told Bossip she was responsible for taking care of the house, their kids, and him, but she wasn't involved in the financial side of his life. In 2005, he signed with the Miami Heat, and Evelyn packed up and moved to Florida with him. They got engaged in 2006, and life was great for them. But suddenly, it all came crashing down. Antoine was traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves before getting traded to the Memphis Grizzlies. After getting waived by the Grizzlies in December 2008, his time in the NBA was over. With his career in shambles, his personal life took a hit too. In January 2009, cops pulled him over when he was speeding in a black Mercedes with the headlights turned off. According to TMZ, after noticing his red eyes, cops administered a breathalyzer test, and he was locked up in Miami Beach for driving under the influence. His personal struggles continued to pile up just 7 months later when he was hit with charges for writing bad checks in Las Vegas.
Damn.
According to Boston.com, Antoine wrote 10 checks totaling $1 million from a bank account that had insufficient funds. 6 checks were signed to Caesar's Palace, while the remaining 4 checks were signed to Planet Hollywood and Red Rock Resort. He attempted to settle his gambling debt by paying back $178,000, but the casinos still demanded he fork over the rest of the cash. A warrant was issued, and when an employee at the Harrah's Casino in Lake Tahoe spotted Antoine at the casino's bar, they called the authorities. He was locked up but was released the following day after paying $135,000 in bail. He later took a plea deal and escaped jail time by offering to pay back his debt. He needed to head back to work to bring in some cash for their family, so he attempted to relaunch his basketball career in 2010 in Puerto Rico and in the D-League, but those plans didn't pan out. Suddenly, Antoine was struggling with his finances, but TMZ reports that although his money was running out, he gave Evelyn $560,000 to open a Miami shoe store called Dolce. As his financial situation got worse and worse, he filed for bankruptcy in 2010, and he told the Russ Parr Morning Show that was around the same time Evelyn decided to leave their 10-year relationship. He made close to $110 million throughout his basketball career, and it was all gone. He said Evelyn moved on so quickly and never even bothered to check up on him. He added, "It's tough when you take care of some people and you make sure that they're good, their family, their daughters, and then they just go left field." Even though Evelyn was done with him, in 2011,
So Shanice has seen her mother go through all of these men. Remember I said Evelyn was too busy chasing men and didn't raise her daughter? So all her daughter did was follow in her footsteps because that's the example that she set. Wasn't being harsh, just being honest.
she pulled into his bankruptcy trial when the trustee claimed the $560,000 payment Evelyn received from Antoine was their attempt to hide his assets from creditors. She denied the allegations and said Antoine never even gave her a lump sum to open her shoe store. Instead, she alleged that she opened up her business after selling her engagement ring. Antoine actually backed up her story, but the trustee wasn't buying it. Evelyn later settled the case by making a $40,000 payment. Evelyn also spoke about the allegations that she left Antoine during the lowest point of his life. She told Bossip they were in the process of breaking up long before he filed for bankruptcy. She began saving her money in anticipation of moving on and being on her own. In a tweet, she also revealed she ultimately ended their relationship because he was unfaithful. After joining the cast of Basketball Wives, Evelyn was filmed trading in the Range Rover Antoine bought her for a brand new Porsche. She was ready for a new life and was looking forward to finding love again. She told NBC Miami she wasn't ruling out dating professional athletes again. She had no idea that a new love and a lot of drama were right around the corner. Chad Ochocinco Johnson was at the height of his career as the wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. VH1 offered him his own dating show called Ochocinco: The Ultimate Catch, which premiered in July 2010. 85 women were vying for the athlete's heart, but Chad completely spoiled the outcome of the dating series by tweeting about his new girlfriend, Evelyn. Sources reported they had been communicating over the phone for several months. On the season 2 finale of Basketball Wives, Evelyn flew out to Cincinnati to meet Chad for the first time. In the first few minutes of meeting, Chad told Evelyn she was a bit too skinny, but he was willing to work with her. and Evelyn told him straight up she wasn't in a position to have a relationship. Still, things moved quickly for the couple. After returning to Miami, Evelyn told her castmate Jennifer Williams that she and Chad hooked up the entire time during her visit. She also added it was nice to dust the cobwebs off, and she was happy with being friends with benefits.
Girl, what cobwebs? She talking about a cop? What cop? Now, why she lying like that?
In November 2010, after just 4 months of dating, Chad popped the question with a 10-carat diamond engagement ring. And USA Today described their engagement as the worst marriage proposal ever. Evelyn told V103 radio station she flew from Miami to Cincinnati to visit Chad, and a jeweler stopped by his house with a few rings. Evelyn's 10-carat ring was in a separate box, and Chad asked her if she liked it. She said yes, and he replied, "Okay, cool," turned his headset back on, and continued playing his Call of Duty video game. How did Chad know she was the one? He told a Twitter follower he had never paused a video game for anyone until he met Evelyn. A month after accepting his proposal, she told Latina magazine she definitely wanted to.
Again, another man that's emotionally unavailable. Again, and you want to know why Evelyn keeps choosing emotionally unavailable men? Because she not emotionally available. She chasing the money. And you want me to believe single motherhood just happened? It just happened to her. It just happened to me. I don't know how. Single motherhood, it just happened. No, it did not. No, it did not.
To have a baby boy with Chad, who was already a father of 4. They were also toying with the idea of starring in their own reality show. He appeared on numerous episodes of Basketball Wives, and cameras capture the couple visiting a fertility center. In another episode, Evelyn seemingly gives Chad permission to cheat as long as he wears condoms. On another occasion, Chad writes her a poem where he refers to her as the, quote, "last slice of pizza that nobody wants." Things weren't entirely bad between them, though. Chad continued to spoil his fiancée, including in December 2011 when he gifted her with a white Maserati for her birthday. It was later announced they would appear in their own spin-off entitled Ev and Ocho on VH1. The show began filming in the...
I just want to say this too. Are y'all seeing a pattern with women that are... I don't know if they're trying to do the sprinkle lifestyle, but it's just it's not working. It's not working. Evelyn ended up a single mother. Brittany Renner ended up a single mother, and it just it looks a mess actually. And then they don't have no money. What is up with that? I really think that it gets into the I think it's poor money management. It's something. I noticed that with Brittany Renner. I'm like, okay, you dated all of these different athletes, entertainers, and things like that. How are you struggling for money? What did you do with your money? Same thing with Evelyn. She's literally clinging to her daughter, leeching off of her for a career to stay relevant because she don't have Basketball Wives anymore. Y'all saw how Basketball Wives is getting canceled, everything. So it's just like, and Brittany Renner talked about that. She was like, well, I thought I was going to have a job in LA. What are the girls doing with their money? That's what I want to know. Y'all dating these men. Y'all doing the sprinkle thing. But why are y'all ending up like y'all broke, helpless, and don't have no damn money? That's what I want to know. It just doesn't make sense. Evelyn, you had a shoe store. That man gave you $500,000 and you have nothing to show for that? You had to get pregnant by Carl. He cheated. It's just a mess. But Ocho could cheat, but Carl couldn't cheat. I don't get it. This is just a mess.
Months prior to their July 4th, 2012 wedding, Chad live tweeted during their nuptials, which took place in Miami. He tweeted that Evelyn changed outfits 4 times during the night and declared that he was probably the only sober person at the wedding reception. A little over a month after tying the knot, Evelyn reportedly found a receipt for condoms in Chad's car. After confronting him, he headbutted her, causing a severe cut on her forehead. Evelyn filed for divorce in August, and on September 21, 2012, Chad entered a plea of no contest to a misdemeanor charge and received a year of probation. The judge...
But she allowed him to cheat. Then she got mad that she found condoms in his car.
The judge also issued a no-contact order for the duration...
Well, a receipt for condoms. She found a receipt for condoms, but she told him that he could cheat as long as he used condoms.
of his probation. His NFL career was over as well, and VH1 yanked their reality
Right.
series, Evan Ocho, before it could even premiere. Evelyn wasn't going to give up on her desire to get married and have more children. In 2013, she began dating former professional baseball player and father of two, Carl Crawford. She got pregnant that same year, and on Christmas Day, he proposed with a 14.5-carat ring worth an estimated $1.4 million. Evelyn gave birth to their son, Carl Leo Crawford, in 2014. She was looking forward to having even more children with Carl, but after numerous IVF cycles and 3 miscarriages, she was losing hope. She told The Breakfast Club that it was after her last round of IVF when a friend told her Carl was cheating on her. When confronted, he admitted it was true and told her, "I'm sorry, you don't deserve this." They called off their engagement in August 2017, and Carl reportedly moved on and fathered 2 more children with 2 different women following their breakup. In late December 2017, she had a brief relationship with rapper French Montana. She celebrated her birthday at his house in
Oh
Los
my
Angeles,
God.
and they spent New Year's Eve together in Las Vegas.
Listen, I don't even like men this much to date these many men, to be in long, committed relationships with them. This is crazy. That's how I know I don't like men that much. Baby, after about probably like the second or third, I would have tapped out. She just keep going. Who you think she talking to right now? Like, you gotta ask that question. Who you think Evelyn talking to right now? When was this created? 6 years ago. How many people has she talked to? That's how I know I don't like men, y'all, because after a while, it's like, you know what? I quit. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I've seen enough. I've had enough. I'm out. I'm done. She just keep going and going and going and going and going and going. This is crazy.
By March 2018, they had cooled things off but remain friends to this day. Evelyn even works with French's ex-girlfriend Khloe Kardashian as a brand ambassador for her Good American clothing brand. Evelyn continued to mingle in that same group when she began exchanging flirty text messages with Rob Kardashian on Father's Day 2019.
What?
She told E! News they were just friends, but in a separate interview with The Breakfast Club, she said she was open to going on a date with him if he asked her out. As of this video, it's unclear whether they've taken things to the next level. Let us know your thoughts on Evelyn's messy dating history, and thanks for watching Real Reality Gossip.
Okay, what was y'all saying? Hold on, what was y'all saying? Y'all was saying that it's not true that for Evelyn, and like I said, this is for Evelyn and Shanice and Evelyn and Shanice only, and women like them. Single mother didn't just happen. Girl, you was the way she was going through men, she wanted it to happen again and again and again. Hell, she lucky she only got 2 kids. She could have a whole football team. That's crazy. No, I'm sorry. Single motherhood didn't just happen to you. And unfortunately, it didn't just happen to your daughter because she watched what you did. That's all she did. She followed in your footsteps.
Do believe and feel that you will eventually get
Yes.
your forever relationship. You're
Yeah.
just coming into a situation with a little +1, and it's okay. Think about
Yeah.
your grandmother. Random thought for me to think about, but it there are situations that work out, and we know plenty of people that have blended families. And so anyway, I say that all to say that I've always just told you, like, I know you're doing a great job. Nobody you know wants to be the only main parent, but what are you going to do? He's here, and he's a
Yeah.
beautiful blessing.
No, he's here. And I like, you have your moments when you're like upset or whatever. But at the end of the day, like I do still strongly feel like he was meant to be here for me. Like he came for me. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because he's changed my life in so many ways. And to be honest, like I've had really good boyfriends prior to Blaze. You know what I mean? And prior to that situation, I've had good boyfriends who would have been good husbands and even better dads if it had worked out. It just didn't.
I feel like she gets choked up. And I do feel like Shanice has some regrets because during the reality show, what's his name? Sean? There was a soccer player that she was dating. I think his name was Sean, but she was only 21 years old. And now I think she regrets some of her past relationships with the good men that she had. And then I even question if they were good men because they're not good pickers. No shade. So She may be having buyer's remorse for no damn reason. She could be going through the same thing, even just younger, 21 years old, because they don't have good pickers at all. They are obsessed with dating professional athletes. And it just seems like she just fell into her mother's footsteps. Seems like her mother then transitioned over to dating a rapper. So then she went and dated a rapper. She just seems to just follow her mother. And now this is just where she is. So she may have regret of the past men that she's dealt with, but who's to say that she wouldn't even be in the same situation? They just don't have a good picker. They don't have good discernment at all. Or maybe they're not leaning on discernment. They're just leaning on, do you have money? How much? Oh, great. That's all. Okay. That's all I needed to know. Maybe they're not even using their discernment at all.
So because there's like, because then people would start questioning, like, oh, she has bad taste in men or something. I'm sorry, but people will be like, oh, she may have just bad taste in men. But I've had good boyfriends, so that's why I'm like, listen, those relationships didn't work out. Blaze was supposed to be here from whomever.
And listen, the good boyfriend that she is mentioning is the soccer player named Sean that was on the reality show that allowed her to spend. It was like a lot of money, y'all. I don't know if it was like $20,000, $30,000 on a necklace for his birthday. So it just seemed like Shanice has always been a little naive when it comes to men. So I think she's reminiscing about the past. She may be thinking, oh, those guys weren't that bad, maybe. So she's calling them good men. I don't know. But what man allows you to spend 30, 20, $30,000 on a necklace? So that's why I'm like, I don't know about that, Shanice. I don't know. I think you're like, damn, if that's the worst I could experience, the other men in my past weren't so bad. I mean, there's a reason why you didn't stay with him.
Blaze came from, the both of us, and that's it. Like, that's
When I have my, how you say you have your moments, that there's moments that we all have as single parents that you're just like, fuck. So one of those moments is, and it happens to me.
And then, like, why do I get this energy from Evelyn that she needed someone to bond with when it comes to single motherhood? It's like is it me, but I've watched part 1, part 2, but Evelyn always gets giddy at being able to bond over this traumatic experience of motherhood. And it's traumatic for them because of the men that they chose. And she just always gets so giddy about that. And I'm just like, that's why sometimes, and this is why I do slightly feel bad for Shanice, is because did your mother sabotage your life? Like, I really have to ask that question. And I want to get her alone in a room and a closed door. I'm like, girl, do you think your mother sabotaged you? Do you think she sabotaged you in a way when it comes to you becoming a single mother because she needed company? It kind of gives that sometimes. Y'all let me know. Y'all seeing that or is it just me?
I'm not going to cry early on in the episode.
baseball.
Yes.
I know it.
So I look around sometimes and you look around and there's like it's all the families and they're all like mom and dad sitting there. And then it's always just me.
Yep.
And I'm the one in the chair, single mom in it, and I think that that's when I have those moments, always. It's like a reminder. And granted, everybody's so lovely. And I will say that there is like such a strong village that we have because they know Evelyn's the single mom. And I don't know if they look at me like that, but they know. Like, I mean, some of the moms are like, God, you're so amazing, and I'm like, it's only me here to be able to figure this out, right?
Yeah.
So, and not saying that Carl's not present, he just doesn't live here. You know what I mean? So he's not present because he's not here.
And it's like I do empathize with mothers that go through this because I actually experienced this, y'all. As an auntie, I experienced this. I took my niece to the park and this Caucasian boy was like, just came up to my niece and was like, I have a dad. And I think his name was Victor. And I said, Victor, she has a dad too. He's just not here at the park today. And I told my niece, I said, tell him that you have a father. He's just at work. The hell? So I can only imagine like what single mothers go through and that was a kid. That was a child. I was offended. I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. He don't think you got a daddy. It was awful, y'all. And I was like, you need to tell him that you have a father. He's just at work. And so my niece goes, my my daddy, he's at work right now. And then the kid just ran off. I was like, no, you need to like, yo, I was so offended. And yes, I remember his name because it was that was traumatizing. I was like, is he stereotyping me? At that age, Victor. I was like, Victor, what are your parents teaching you at home? It was awful. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that just happened to me. That's what I'm saying. Life will humble you for real. So, and I'm just the auntie. So I can only imagine what single moms go through from the parks to strapping the baby into the car seat, getting the baby out the car seat, carrying them into the grocery store, unloading, loading. I mean, it's a lot to do all of that day to day, all by yourself. It's a lot. It's a lot. That is a real story, y'all. That kid's name was Victor, and I'm like, okay.
So, but I do have those moments, and it is tough. But I feel like your kids, when they get older, like Blaze is gonna realize, Leo's gonna realize, like, dang, my mom did the thing,
Mm-hmm.
like she really held it down. So, and
Yeah.
and that's where I find strength in knowing that, because he sees how much I do. But yeah, it's
Imagine being a woman who went through all of those men, touched all of that money, experienced a very luxury or luxurious lifestyle, and she is still in this survival mode of holding it down. And she's just passing down that legacy to her children. She passed it down to Shanice. Now, you know, she's going to cling to this struggle. This struggle is my strength. And it's like, struggle doesn't have to be your strength. It doesn't. It does not have to be your strength. But it just seems like that's what Evelyn is just passing down to her kids, is that struggle is her strength. And now her son most likely is going to cling to that struggle being his strength. Shanice's struggle being her strength. I mean, it's just going to be a consistent thing. Maybe even Blaze is going to experience that now, where struggle for him will be his strength. So, and that's part of the reason the game, Jason, the reason why he won't leave his neighborhood is because he finds creativity in his struggle and in his strength. So he's like attached to where he can't even let go of his old neighborhood. He feels like he can't even create without that type of connection to the struggle. So it's really sad. And this is why I'm always telling you to be jealous of women just because they have material things that you do not have, but they're still in survival mode, will never make any sense to me. To be jealous of them, to envy them, it just does not make any sense to me. They're still struggling. So it's awful. So that's what she's passing down to her son, is he will know his strength based off of his struggle, and she knows her strength through her struggle. And it's kind of sad to see that. And I'm pretty sure Evelyn's mom is the same way, and it's probably just generational at this point.
it's tough sometimes when you're the only parent at certain
You
things.
want to know when my moments are?
When?
Like kids' parties.
Mm.
Sometimes after kids' parties, I feel like,
Yeah.
you know, because you see, I go to kids' parties and the parents are actually together. I don't mean like fake together to cut the cake, like
Yeah.
the family is together. So, like kids' parties, or it will be even random, like when I'm at the grocery store, and it's like, dad helping the mom pick something up from the thing to put it in the coche, and then the baby is there and you're unloading into the car. I've done so much unloading and stuff by myself, but then I'm like, man, I would be unstoppable if I had that like help.
Right.
because I'm doing all the things. So I'm proud of myself. But yeah, like those, I have moments like that where I go at the grocery store, at kids' parties when I leave, or even if it's not the family's kids' party, but it's just a dad that came with mom to help her with the kid at the kids' party kind of thing. I would feel bad at pediatrician appointments,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And this is what I'm not understanding, ladies. Okay, Shanice, I'm pretty sure you watched your mother struggle in a similar way, maybe. It's kind of fuzzy about how did Shanice actually grow up? Was she really hopping from home to home with Evelyn? It's kind of fuzzy about where was Shanice at the time in which she was hopping from home to home. Um, so that's one thing that I'm not understanding, but this is what I'm not understanding when it comes to women today. Are we not thinking about these type of things? Having a complete unit is easier on yourself in some cases. I've seen married women where they're on their own too. So they're like a single mother in a marriage. But why are women not really thinking about these things before? Why are we thinking about them after the fact? Because that's the whole reason why I don't have kids. I'm not about to. Have y'all ever had to haul a baby in a grocery store? And I'm talking about an infant. You gotta leave them in the car seat. Girl, do you know how heavy that is? Do you not understand the marks that leave on your forearm? And then you gotta haul that around. Have you ever tried to take a baby to a mall? Oh my God, you gotta bring the snacks, bottle. I mean, it's a lot of work. So whenever I think about kids, I think about hell no, I'm not doing that by myself. Too much work. And then no break, no downtime. You don't have a partner to come in and help. Hell no. Why are we not thinking about these things before though? I don't understand. And as maybe it's because I was the only girl, I was the only daughter, granddaughter on my mother's side. And then I was the only granddaughter on my father's side that was more present and just active. I learned very early on, but that was a life that I did not want to experience by myself because I was taking care of the younger kids and getting them together. And then I dealt with boys. There was no girls. So I'm hauling around boys in car seats. Girl, that is not easy. So oh, girl. And then by the time I got a little bit older, I was so well seasoned. Listen, loose pants, leggings, like yoga pants. We're just gonna have on either a long sleeve shirt or something I can easily get out of, and then we're gonna do a cross bag. We not trying to be cute. We just trying to get in and we trying to get out. More simple and easy is the way to go. Okay, because trying to haul the baby bag, trying to haul the car seat, it's just too much. So I was like, how can I condense what I need to carry when I have them with me? It was that serious, but it's like me having that experience, I was like, I don't really care to have kids like that. It's too much work. And you got to do that all by yourself? Mm-mm. No, no. So I'm very grateful that I had that experience at a very young age. This is why I'm a little bit confused when it comes to Shanice, because what were you watching? Did you watch this part of your mother's life, or did you just watch the love that she was experiencing? Did you watch, the other side of these relationships? That's what I'm confused about, because it seems like Shanice is an observer. She seems like she is very just watchful. She's very wise. She sees things that maybe other people don't see. So I'm actually a little shocked that she ended up in this situation, because she seems like she's an observer. She can articulate herself very well. She seems emotionally intelligent and self-aware. I just don't understand how she ended up in this situation similar to her mother. Honestly, is very shocking. And which makes me wonder, did she encourage Shanice to date the game? I wonder.
That would.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, like I would be like, well, you
Right.
know,
Yeah, you feel bad because you feel like you shouldn't be on this journey
no,
by yourself.
but the journey's not over.
No, the journey's not over, and that's
Yeah.
what is that's what it doesn't end there, you know.
Yeah.
It's like
And when I say did she just watch the love that her mother experienced? Because I had an older cousin, and I remember when she started dating this boy, and I thought that they were so cute. I'm like, how old was I? Like 12, 13 years old. And I'm going over to her house to get my hair braided, and I would watch their relationship, and I thought it was just so cute, so cute. And then she ended up pregnant. And I watched how their relationship just dwindled after that. And I'm like, hell no. I mean, they went from being around each other all day, every day, to the point where it was sickening because I'm trying to get my hair braided and they're flirting and playing around, to after she had that baby, I didn't even really see him no more after that. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, did she just see the love that she was the happy times that she was experiencing with the men that her mother was just dating and going through and being engaged to and all of that? Or did she actually see the flip side of that? Because I'm an observer too, and I see the flip side of things as well. So at first I'm like, oh, this is so cute. That's so cute. You know, when you young, you naive, and you interested in boys around that time. So you think every little thing is kind of cute. And then you like, oh, girl, what happened? Pregnancy, teenage pregnancy. And then the boy just stopped coming around. And then I haven't seen him. So I don't know. It makes me wonder, did Shanice see that? Did she see the flip side of her mother's love life? It seems like she did, because she seems like she would get emotionally upset whenever her mother would talk about her toxic relationships with the men that she's been in relationships with. One of those being Ocho Cinco. She talked about that in the reality show. So I wonder, I just wonder, what was the drop off? What happened? Did her mother encourage her to date the game? I have that question.
It's hard, but we figure it out. And
I'll tell you something though. I think guys love single moms.
really,
But when I said it, remember when I said men love single mothers? Do you not understand? And I said this confidently. I have said this confidently. I don't feel like it's a slight towards me at all. I have been picked over single mothers. Me, a single woman with no kids. I have said this over and over and over again, and people think I'm being shady or something like that. No, I'm being honest. I am being honest as hell. I have been picked over by single mothers. And I really think a lot of it has to do with men prey on single mothers, because the whole reason I'm like, okay, well, choose her. I'm not saying choose her because I'm better or anything. I'm saying choose her because you're a fucking clown. And I see your game. And see, you can't play me like that, because I have freedom. I can come and go and do whatever I want to do. I don't got to put kids to bed at 10 o'clock or 8 o'clock. So you can't just play with me like that. But what I noticed was this one guy that I was dating, he was choosing the single mother because she was predictable. He knew what her schedule was going to be. And so with me, I was always a mystery. So I have been picked over by single mothers every single time, but every time I'm picked over by the single mother, it's always a clown ass man. So that's another thing. And then sometimes your kids can drain your energy, can distract you in a way. So sometimes when you date, you don't have the foresight, or you don't even have the energy to really discern in a way as a single mother or a single woman with no kids has the ability to do, because you're dealing with your kids all day. So I just be noticing that. I'm like, so you're preying on her, and you don't want to deal with me because I'm too much of a challenge, but she's more predictable. So you're going to take her because you don't see her as much of a challenge, because her kids put her in that schedule and put her in that routine. And really, it's the schedule, it's the routine that makes it easy to prey on a woman, because he knows what you're doing. He knows what you have to do. He knows what you have going on 9 times out of 10. But with me, it's always a mystery. So I'm more of a challenge for that reason. And that's the only reason I'm more of a challenge. The only reason I'm more of a challenge is simply because my schedule is free. That's it. And so they weaponize that against single mothers. And oftentimes they would choose the single mother over the woman with no kids simply because the scheduling. That's really it. They know where you are. They know you're with your kids. They know you're not with another man. They know you can't be out here putting them in competition with other men, because most likely you're taking care of your kids or your time is limited. So they use that against single mothers. That's one thing that I noticed. It's awful. So Shanice is thinking it's cute, but I'm like, I've seen it the other way around, where I'm like, no, they're preying on you, and not in a good way. They're weaponizing the fact that you're a mother against you, and it just makes you more predictable than a woman that doesn't have kids. That's it.
They're like damsel,
I think they feel
damsel in
bad.
distress. But
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
but do they love single moms in a way that they want to be with you and they want to help you co-parent with this child, or is it
I don't know, but they love me as a single mom. That's all I'm saying. But back to
Oh,
what the lesson is for other women.
and listen, ladies, please do not eat that shit up. Please do not eat that shit up. Okay. If she, it's bothering me that Shanice is eating that up, because most likely she's gonna end up a single mom twice. Okay. And let me be real when I say this. It kind of reminds me of the girls that eat it up when a man is like, I want you to have my baby, but he ain't talked about marriage with you. He hasn't talked about a future with you. He hasn't talked about an engagement with you. You're eating that up. Why? Are you trying to become a single mother for a second time? Please do not eat up that compliment. It's not a compliment in the way that you think. It is literally the same thing. Even I have to be mindful of that. It's not just a single mother thing, it's a woman thing. Men are always preying on you. So you have to be careful about that. You can't always be giddy and think that them saying that type of stuff is like truly a compliment. It may be them preying on you. It sounded like a threat to me. I wouldn't be laughing at all. At all, at all, at all.
As you were saying, like to be a tool for other women. I didn't necessarily think about it like that before we shot the episode,
Oof.
but as I was watching the episode, I was thinking, man, I think this is a lesson for other women to focus on not only being desired, but also being cherished,
Mm,
you know? And I think that's the lesson. You
yeah,
not only want to be desired, but you want to be desired and cherished. And yeah,
yeah, no, that's good.
yeah,
Yeah, anybody could be desired, but how many?
yeah. And like,
That is such a great point. Careers can be a single woman's child. That is such a great point.
yeah, whatever. But
Yeah, sorry.
you want both.
Yeah, sorry, we went into like a whole thing
It's
with it, but
important.
no, I think it is important, and I feel like even with my life, the good, the bad, the ugly, I didn't realize at some point that my life, especially when my life became public, that it was a teaching
Mm-hmm.
tool because I was so open on reality TV. Um, but then when you realize that, then I'm like, I really want to be an open book, and I think that's why reality TV worked for me because I was such an open book with everything that was going on, so it could have
Mm-hmm.
been a breakup,
Mm-hmm.
whatever was happening in my life, I was okay talking about it and I was okay shooting that.
Yeah, because there's nothing better than someone else saying, want you, going, man, I felt the same way when this happened, and it's like they're looking at you probably thinking, oh, she doesn't go through that, as if you're like, because you're beautiful and this and that. And it's like, no, we all go through the same crap.
Yeah, we all go through the same crap, and nobody's exempt to heartbreak in certain situations in life, and
Oof.
yeah, it's like sometimes hearing somebody else's story, you're like, God damn,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not the only one,
Mm-hmm.
so I could relate to her, or I don't know, y'all. Nobody.
You just proved my point about how she is somewhat happy that she can share company with Shanice about being a single mother.
Got it all figured out. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm 50 and I will tell you, it's an ongoing cycle to just try to better yourself and try to, learn from your mistakes, and you're going to continue to make mistakes. It's just life. Like nobody is perfect. So
Yeah.
anyway, I give you your flowers for being able to sit down with him, and Blaze is gonna forever have that, and at the end of the day, that's what's important. I when I sit down to have dinner with Carl and Leo, I'll be like, "Ooh, I can't wait to talk to Leo when he's 20-something years old," because I don't ever badmouth Leo. I never badmouth Carl to Leo. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think at some point when he gets older, he'll ask like more questions, and maybe we could have adult conversations. But I keep it cute.
As you should.
Yeah, I keep it
Yeah.
cute. I keep it cute. Anyway, that was a lot.
Yes.
So how do you feel about season 2? Like what are the vibes? I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic.
I think that season 2 is really going to be the season where we show a lot of personal growth and a lot of growth within the podcast.
Yeah.
I think that I mean, even with the guests that we spoke about, coming on,
Okay, let me reword that. Shanice is going to show inner growth. She said that she watched the episodes back and she reflected on the episodes. So we're probably going to see growth from Shanice. Not that much because she's still attached to her mother. She's too close to her mother. But we'll see growth from her, but we're not going to see growth from Evelyn.
feel like we're gonna really
I'm not
crank it up this season
Yeah.
with our guests and some more um moments that are gonna be like crazy.
Yeah.
No, I just like drop a little like a passion.
Drop the laws of passion. And what I love too, this is what
Ooh,
let me tell you what really feeds my soul about this platform and the podcast is that the positive comments with the guests that have come on. So like with Ray J,
For sure.
people are like, wow, I view him totally different. Like we want people to look good on this platform. We want you to be open to discuss whatever you want to discuss. If there's something you don't want to talk about,
okay, let's get into Basketball Wives. Evelyn discusses the end of Basketball Wives after 16 years. 16 years is a very long time. Oh my gosh. She expresses mixed emotions about the show that significantly impact her life and career.
We should acknowledge something major, which also has to deal with endings and shedding, right? Basketball Wives is a wrap 15 years later.
15 years.
I was in high school.
That's crazy.
I will say I got the news yesterday.
Yeah.
So Shawnee made her post. I will say that throughout this journey of filming this show together, 16 years, because we started in 2010, we're in 2026. She has done a really good job of being my best friend, but also wearing that hat as well. Like she wouldn't share certain things with me because it's show related, right? And I'm a cast member. There's certain things I just shouldn't know. She put out her statement and I thought it was, well said. And the first thing, I mean, I text you and I told you because, it was one of those things where we were kind of waiting to see what was going on. And then I felt sadness. I feel like with most things,
Girl, you are 50 years old and you felt sadness because Basketball Wives was coming to an end, and all y'all did on that show was just fester in drama and cattiness. I stopped watching Basketball Wives how they treated OG, and I was disgusted. I was like, there's a group of women acting like this, and y'all are singling out this woman and bullying her and being colorist. And I just couldn't sit there and watch it. And then Shawnee, when I tell y'all, I do not like that woman, y'all. When I tell you she is the one behind it all, she irritates me so bad. Like I do not like her. That is one woman I cannot stand. And she's now just grifting into this religious first lady woman, and it's just total BS. So I'm glad the show ended. It needed to end. Y'all weren't doing nothing on there anyway. And the way y'all made Jackie and her daughter look, I was disgusted. No wonder the show ended. The show should have ended after OG. I stopped watching after OG. I was like, I cannot sit here and watch this. What am I watching? And then when I started off watching the show, I started off watching when I was probably in high school too. I probably started watching Basketball Wives in high school. And then I noticed that I had outgrown the show. I had outgrown the show. I had outgrown the women on the show because the way they acted wasn't how I wanted to carry myself as a woman now that I'm a woman. I thought it was all funny and cute and when I was young and I was a teenager. But then when I became a woman myself, I was like, this is not how you behave. And then y'all older than me. It was a mess. I was like, I can't watch this anymore. It was bad. So, I'm glad to see it end. It needed to end years ago. Honestly, I don't even know why it lasted this long.
it's not everything, but when something has been such a part of your life for such a long time, the end of an era or the end of something is tough, And I always tell people I did it I didn't sign on to do the show to be famous. I say famous because I don't take myself that serious. I did it because it was work and it was a job, and I had a store at the time, and it was going to help my store, Dulce in Miami, and all these reasons of why I did the show. Um, but then I reflected, and I was like, it had to end at some point. Like, it's 16 years.
Hmm.
I don't think people realize that. Like, we don't. I feel like we've never really gotten our flowers, but we were on 16 years. Like, what else do we want?
What flowers did they want? What flowers? Girl, did you want a funeral arrangement? Because that's the only thing I can think of the type of flowers y'all would be looking to get. Is she serious? It and you know what's so sad is Shawnee could have done so much with the show, but she chose not to. I mean, at first they did. They did like little charity events and things like that, but then they took that. I think they took that completely out of the show. And then they started implementing just nothing but drama. Like they would travel and it was drama. It was scenes at restaurants and it was drama. It was just drama, 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 drama. And it just, and then Evelyn, you're sad to see it end. You're 50 years old. Were you going to continue to act like that? For to just to say you had a job?
Do we want to be on for 25 years? We're all getting older. Like, times are changing. Reality TV is changing. How you watch TV is changing. Like, there's so many things happening. So, I'm still kind of, you know, I guess accepting that it's like done. I talked to Brandy because I thought about the cast, and I was
Hmm.
like, I don't speak to a lot of the girls. I do have a good relationship with Brandy, Ty and Ming. They just came on this last season. I'll call them. But I was like thinking of the OGs of the show. And she texted me last night, and even this morning she was like, I can't believe it's done. And I think we're all kind of just accepting
Yeah.
that there's no more Basketball Wives.
No, it's an ending. I feel like that also goes in line with the Year of the Snake. It's the ending of an era, like you said, and it's been so your identity,
Yeah.
like the last 15, 16 years.
And
So that means so that means Evelyn, the way you acted on the show is who you are.
that identity, right? So the last couple of years, I felt like the old Evelyn and the new Evelyn were in a battle with each other. Every time I went onto set, as I evolved as a woman, there were certain things that were expected of you. If you hear, "Oh, that scene was boring, like we need something," or you knew that things were flat, or obviously what sells the show is conflict, arguments, and those type of things. I always felt like I had to deliver because this is my job.
Hmm.
I'm not,
And you're so good at it.
yeah,
I mean,
I'm
you're
not,
like great at it.
I'm not coming on here to like bake cakes and cookies with you. So
Yeah.
it's like, but it was tough because as my life evolved in Miami, I would have certain moments and I didn't have a contract.
Now listen, I relate to her about her old identity fighting with her new one because I kind of felt that probably last year, and then I decided to rebrand. So I actually resonate with that a lot. But the only thing that I would say is when you have those conflicts with your old identity and your new identity and they're fighting each other like that, two things are going to happen. Either you make a choice or you're going to be forced to. So, and I feel like a lot of people are probably going to be forced to 2026. A lot of people, and this is just spiritual, this is collective energy. A lot of people are going to be forced to. 2025 was your year to stop that back and forth, your old identity and your new identity, and not wanting to let go of the old identity because your old identity is associated with money or a brand or something like that. Or it could even be a career or a job. And it's just gonna create that war within yourself. But eventually it's gonna break. Like the situation is gonna break. Either you're gonna lose a job, you're gonna pivot in your career, or some type of change is just gonna happen. And typically this type of change is sudden it's a collapse. It happens out of nowhere and it's truly unexpected. But 2025, if you made that choice to just choose your new identity, you should be fine. You should be pivoting. But if you chose to stay in that indecisive, then you're going to be forced and it's going to be sudden and it's going to be a collapse. So I don't know which one you may fall in when it comes to collective group or the collective energy. But like I said, either you pivoted or you stayed and now you're experiencing a sudden collapse. And that's what we're seeing with Evelyn. She stayed and now she's experiencing the rug be pulled from under her because you can't stay you can't stay and remain in that in between threshold between two identities. You have to choose one eventually. So it seems like God, the universe, whatever you believe in, made that choice for her. And that may happen to you this year if you don't pivot. Okay.
Conscience about it. I would go home. I was drinking a lot. I was drunk half the time with all those crazy scenes.
Dang.
So I would go home. I didn't care. I'm doing the thing. Life is going a mile a minute. But now I'm in a different space. I go home. I'm not drinking. I'm reflecting on what was said. You know, we're dealing and we're talking about tough storylines and conversations of every individual cast member of what they're going through. The juicier and messier it is, the more we're going to talk about it. That's hard. But I would go home. You would see me sometimes when I would have like tough scenes. It was like I was there, but I wasn't there. So, I will say I'm not going to miss that because it started becoming difficult for me to do my job and not care.
Yeah, and I think like you have Leo and now you have Blaze,
Yeah.
and I just feel like and it's hard, right? Because it's a job. Like you just lost one of your jobs, like one of your main
Right.
jobs, right? And I think people forget that it is a job, and this is what you do. You just happen to be supremely great at it, like you are a reality TV star in your own right. And I just, it's a different era, it's a different time. And you have Leo, and now you're more conscious of what Leo sees when he's on TikTok.
Now listen, Evelyn, she could have pivoted off of Basketball Wives way before 2026 to where she probably could have gotten her podcast up and going and well established to the point where she would have never really needed Basketball Wives. But she stayed stuck in that in between two identities and she was choosing her old identity because of the money. And one thing we know about Evelyn is she's going to choose the money every single time. She's going to choose the money every single time. So we've also seen a history and a pattern with Evelyn where she's choosing men, she's indecisive, and then all of a sudden there's a sudden collapse that happens where a rug is pulled from underneath her and then she has to move on. And then she doesn't even stay still long enough to reflect, do some introspection, do some healing. She just hops to the next relationship and next relationship and next relationship. So she doesn't really take time out to herself to really figure out what is her next move. How should she pivot? She just goes right into the next thing. So that's something that I'm noticing about her, which it may lead to this podcast not even being successful because sometimes you have to kind of take a step back and really figure out what you're going to do. Like even when it came to my rebrand of this channel, I had to take a step back. I disconnected from social media, Instagram, and everything. I mean, I even deleted my main Instagram account just because I needed to take a step back to figure out I knew that I needed to pivot because I wasn't feeling it. I felt like I was performing and I didn't like that. Like I like to be me at all times. And I felt like I was performing an old identity because that was the brand, that was the platform. And so I'm like, okay, this is not working for me anymore. I don't even feel fulfilled anymore. I don't feel good about my platform, my YouTube channel, my brand, my name. I just don't feel good anymore in it. And not because I don't like it or not proud of it, it just doesn't resonate with me anymore. So I had to disconnect. I had to take a step back and really sit with myself long enough to figure out, okay, how am I going to pivot? And I'm pivoting with my new identity and I'm shedding my old identity. And that's how I came up with Between Two Worlds with Yoni. So it takes time. It's a gradual process and it's not fast. People may think something's wrong with you, that you may have something going on, but the whole time, like you're really doing the inner work to pivot to get back aligned because now you shed that old identity. And so it may take some time. You may have to take a step back. You may have to disappear for a little while to figure it out. And that's what my 2025 was about.
And, I know that if Blaze seen that, you would be even more like, oh my God,
Yeah.
like certain things. So it is hard, but I think that it's just following you and your new.
Listen, I'm still posting on my other channel. It's just behind a paywall. That channel is very much active. If you go, it may look dead on the to the public, but it's very active over there. It's just active on Patreon. So that channel is still active, y'all.
Chapter,
Yeah.
your new path.
I got a text today, so I have to read this.
And it's so great that that's not you anymore, because some people, it is still them.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not what you're about. That's not what you're just in a different space, and that's life,
It is. I think so. I got a text today. I'm not going to say from who it was, but so when we started Basketball Wives Miami, a lot of the camera guys, the sound guys, like they pretty much grew up with us, and a lot of people that work in this industry are freelance, so they pretty much work project by project. And one thing that just talking to them throughout the years, they always knew Basketball Wives was going to come back on, so that they knew that was a check and a job that they would have every year. I remember one of the showrunners, Kendall, he goes, man, Basketball Wives helped me pay for college, or there's another camera guy, and he's like, man, like this show really helped me support my family. And I think that for me, so this is one of the messages that I received from.
Shoot, I think Basketball Wives paid for my college.
It
and
did,
high school.
and that's the thing. Like you said, I think people forget that this is a job.
Yeah.
I've been able to accomplish so much because of this platform. So when Shawnee decided one day, living on Star Island, going through a divorce with Shaquille, she always says that she was sitting in this, Star Island. She was sitting in this huge mansion and she was going through a divorce. She had all these kids and she's thinking, what the fuck am I going to do? How am I going to support these kids? And she came up with the idea of the show. And I'm so grateful.
Which is why it was supported originally. But I've just felt like after a while, it truly lost its purpose, which is why I couldn't watch it no more. How they treated OG was so disgusting, y'all. It was like wrong watching. It was just wrong watching her get treated like that. So I had to turn it off.
Grateful for that, because they also, even when I bought my first house, I was like, I messaged her and I'm like, bitch, thank you. If I didn't do the show and my life didn't change and I didn't have on fucking paper that I made this money, I wouldn't have been able to purchase my home, you know? And I'm forever grateful for that. So anyway, so I'll read this. This is from one of the camera guys. Saw Shawnee's post. It's official. He goes, it's a sad day. End of an era. And I was there from day one, Miami to LA. You only get a handful of shows like this your whole career. I'm lucky to have been on this journey, and a sincere pleasure to watch all of you grow with us as well on set. We went from 30s to our 50s. She was like, it's crazy. Excited for our new chapter. We always cross paths. I'm sure I'll see you again soon. Much love, and please stay in touch. Un abrazo grande. My emotion doesn't come from the show ending. It comes from, that's emotional too, but how many people depended on the show? There was so many people that loved working on the show. It wasn't an easy show to work on, but we were family. I saw people have kids, get married. I'm like, oh.
I'm not moved. And the reason I'm not moved was because of the way these women acted on that show. They acted like bullies for a check. And then Shanice is basically implying that is her true identity, that she is a bully in real life. So I'm not moved by this, just at all. I'm unimpressed.
Oh my God, I became a grandma.
Yeah.
So it was such a long journey that I'm so grateful for. I'm so grateful for it.
Because I remember when OG was crying, they didn't give a damn about her. So me giving a damn about her right now, I'm not here for it at all. No.
I always say it was like a double-edged sword for me, it truly, truly was, because although it was helping me accomplish all these beautiful things in my life, it was also tough because I was so open with my life. And it was one of those things where, it's not easy. It's not easy. Can I get tissue? But anyway, his text, I haven't even responded to his text because you build relationships with these people, like Brandy, the producer.
And then y'all wanna know why Shanice looks older. Do y'all see the work that she has to do? She's the mother in this dynamic. She is mothering the 50-year-old woman on this couch right now. That's why she look older. She doing the work her mother should be doing. She doing her mother's work, her work, and then when she was with the game, because I told you he's attracted to women that are nurturers. He is attracted to women that are nurturers. She was nurturing him too. So if she's nurturing her mother, the game, and her child, and y'all expect for her to look youthful? Hell no. She need to get away from these people. They are draining her. And then you see how accommodating Shanice is when it comes to her mother getting emotional and things like that. But on the flip side, we don't get the same energy from Evelyn when it comes to her daughter being emotional. No empathy at all. That's why I'm sorry, ladies. If you have a mother like this, I'm sorry. I really am. This is a lot. Cause it's like you have to mother her. It's too much. It's too much. I'm gonna call my mom if it's not too late when I get off this live. And I'm just like, you know what? Thank you for being my mother because what? I couldn't imagine being 32 years old. My mother's 50 and I have to mother her. It's too much. I'm sorry. And yes, ladies, if you have a mother that's like this and you have to mother her, you may need to put some major distance between you and her so that you can take care of yourself. And that's the issue is there's a self-abandonment that's going on with Shanice where she's abandoning herself, it's taking away from her beauty, and she's pouring into her mother. So it's just, and it's the reason why I feel like she should go no contact. And then maybe that will set a firm boundary with her where she can have a little distance and maybe have light contact afterwards, after she kind of takes some time out to herself to heal. And then maybe try to work on her relationship with her mother, but at a distance and very slow and gradual. But she needs some distance. She does. And I'm telling you, if she creates this distance, she would look even more youthful. Okay. I don't feel like Shanice is ugly by any means, but you feel like her spark's not there. I feel like that's what it is. You feel like her spark's not there. The light behind her eyes are not there. And I just feel like if she were to take some real time out to herself, the spark would come back, the light behind her eyes would come back, her youth would be seen, and it wouldn't look like she's being sucked dry. So, no shade, but honestly, I mean, this is a lot of work. She has to regulate her mother's emotions. She has to talk to her mother in a way of being able to articulate her mother's emotions so that she can process them. We're watching that in real time. And she's supposed to do that herself. I talked about this. I think this was in one of my members only videos where I was talking about sometimes when you're overextending yourself in relationships and friendships, right? And it's because the person doesn't know how to self-regulate. So they lean on others to do the self-regulating. What is leaning on someone else to self-regulate for you? Sorting out their feelings and then helping them work through them and process them. That's not your job to do. And that's what she's doing in this mother-daughter relationship. But when it came to my members only video, I talked about how sometimes you do that in friendships. And that is just not your job to do. That's you overextending and overgiving, and you may be a people pleaser.
Producer, Sean Rankin, Mike Saliga, like all these people, the people at Truly, Ronica, Lauren, like there's so many people that you love and you're excited to see, and you're like, okay, what are we doing this season?
Yeah.
So I'll miss that. It
Yeah,
was
the
like,
camaraderie, I think that's the
yeah,
word.
so
Yeah.
I'll miss that, but like I told Shawnee yesterday, I said, girl, we had such a great run.
Great run.
Like, great run. Going into this shit in Miami, we didn't know what this was gonna be, girl. Like, I'm thinking, all right, I'm shooting in this apartment, and like, I don't know. I didn't know that we were.
I feel like the reason why Shanice looks flat and bored is because her mother drains her energy. Her mother is draining her energy right now.
Gonna be here so many years later, and it was one of those things where I just took a leap of faith. I didn't even know what reality TV was. I'm like, "Psh, I'm just gonna do it. Who cares?" And it really, really changed my life. So I'm so grateful for Shawnee. I know she has other projects and things that she's working on, but I know that this was tough for her. This was really, really tough for her because she knows that a lot of people dependent on this, and that's what she really looks at, you know?
Yeah.
She should have thought about that before she decided to air that episode with Jackie and her daughter. That was stupid.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was just thinking about like being in high school and filming the show. Like the show filmed my graduation. I think my first boyfriend was on there.
Yeah.
And then now it's like I look at you where you are today and I look at you then and I'm like, I know you did it because you were a single mom and you were just trying to figure it out.
I was just trying to figure it out.
It doesn't seem like Shanice liked her mother being on Basketball Wives. Is it just me? Is it just me? But it does not seem like Shanice liked Evelyn being on Basketball Wives, or she didn't like how her mother was seen on Basketball Wives. Let me know.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know? So, and I'm grateful that I did. You know,
Yeah.
I had to put you through college. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna do this reality show. I gotta put it through college.
Yeah.
What else am I gonna do? You know? So
Here she goes. She's reverting back to the struggle.
Girl, you not only did it, you like kicked ass. Are you kidding me?
yeah, I
No, you
did it.
literally kicked ass. Like it is what you were made to do.
Yeah.
Like if no one tells you, I'm here to tell you. You were
Yeah.
made to do that. And you, even at times, if I was like, what the hell are you doing? You know, you followed your path, you did what you needed to do, and that's it.
You see how Shanice be sliding it in? You know, Gemini's, I be seeing y'all. She slide, she see one thing I like about Shanice would make a great therapist. Would she? She would be a great therapist where she gonna slide in the truth, right? But then be like, but you did amazing. And the truth is it's criticism. It's constructive, but it's criticism. And then she just slide it in. She would make a great therapist, actually.
And
Yeah.
I am proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's
You
like
know?
See,
chapter closed, you know,
it's so sad because Evelyn could not do this for Shanice. That's what's so sad.
And we're
but
on to the
and
next.
we're on to the next. But
Yeah.
man, it is definitely I haven't responded to anybody on social because it's so many
Yeah.
messages of people just showing love. Like, no way.
Yeah. I mean, people wait for you. When's the show coming back on?
When is the show
Like
coming back on?
these
You know, I did
clips.
have somebody say, and
And then, like, are y'all noticing how their strength, mainly Evelyn's, it just sounds more like a burden to her? Like, well, I had to put you through college, and I know you did it because you're a single mother. And it's like Evelyn reverts to the single mother identity. Like she kind of clings to it because she doesn't know who she is without the struggle. And then it seems like Shanice mirrors that.
I reposted her message, but I knew we were shooting this today. So then I deleted it. So I got to go back. Hopefully it's still there. They were like, I'm going to miss you on Basketball Wives, but I'm happy to see you on Drop the Low. And I was like, you know what? Thank you. You know, so it's good. You know, these
And
are these are happy
these are
tears.
happy tears. And it's funny because when we started this, we didn't know that this was happening. You
No.
know, like we had like this. We
Yeah.
were just throwing what is it, darts at spaghetti at the walls,
Yeah.
seeing what sticks. Like we
Yeah.
had no idea.
And that's what I'm saying. Remember, I was saying that Evelyn could have pivoted to this podcast and really could have set herself up if she would have just chose the new identity. But instead, she was in between the old and the new. And then she was kind of half-assing this podcast, throwing darts at the wall, basically just based off of what Shanice is saying. And she never really gave this the time and the energy that it really needed. And so she had that sudden collapse, that rug that was pulled from underneath her. And now she has no choice but to focus on this podcast and this brand because now she doesn't have Basketball Wives. I don't know. This may be resonating for some of y'all. It may be resonating to your personal situation. Go ahead and pivot. I would hate for that rug to just be pulled from underneath you and you experience some type of collapse where now you're kind of rushing and forced to kind of figure it out. Take that time out to really figure out how you're gonna pivot, make a plan, and then just go for it.
But like our path brought us here, and it's like
Yeah.
now people can see you here, and it's just
And we
yeah,
were
we'll
scheduled to
see.
shoot today, and the news hit yesterday. So I was thinking,
Crazy.
when I talked to Lisa, who helps produce our show, I was like, we have to add this in the show because it doesn't make sense for me. I didn't want to take to just Instagram to put how I feel about what's happening. And it's just everything feels aligned. I will say, there is a part of me that is like, okay, what next?
Sure.
Because this has been such a major part of my life. And even if I wasn't doing the show and I went and did my own show or I went and did a dating show, Basketball Wives was always there. So it always felt like my security blanket. So like, I'm like, they're always going to hire me back. I could keep leaving. I'm going to be able to come back. You know who posted something really nice? Drea.
Hmm.
Drea posted, somebody had sent it to me. She was like, job well done, ladies, or something like that. And then she posted something to Shawnee and was like, we need to do a last farewell dinner, which for many years they had always tried to get her back on the show. But she was doing her mid swim and she was doing other things. She's probably like, shit, I'm not going back on that show because it's not an easy show to film. But it was nice, it's nice when other cast members are like, all right, I may not have liked her or we may have had our differences, but I know what we were doing. We're doing reality TV, which isn't always fun. But anyway, her vibe was positive.
I just need someone to explain to me what was the legacy of Basketball Wives. The only thing I can think of is that these women were mean girls. Not all of them, but the ones I'm talking about. And they got paid for it. That's it. They were bullies and they got a check. That's the legacy. You let me know. What was the legacy?
So I was grateful for that. And I saw that Shawnee reposted it. But yeah, like, I mean, even for her, she was able to, put her name out there and start her brand and do things, which
Color is
has been
right.
like, it's been good, I mean, she always wanted people to come on here, even if we were having drama, but come on here and talk about your businesses and the stuff that you have going on. And we did have that opportunity. So we're grateful for that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely changed lives. It's changed my life.
It
So
cha-
yeah, it did indirectly, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's everything is a trickle down effect,
Yeah, for sure.
So it's yeah, like I said, I was in high school when you started.
I
So
know. So
yeah.
crazy. So
So
crazy. I mean, 16 years is wild.
okay, so now that we're talking about growth, you just had your appearance with on Tamron Hall with Iyanla Manzan.
I know.
Isn't that crazy? Because in 2016 we had our show, which is when she filmed our show, and even before that you filmed her show.
Yeah.
And now it's just new beginning, and she like came into your life
I
again.
mean, we would talk from time to time via text message, but seeing her physically, especially after we were on OWN and doing the Tamron Hall and her picking me to come to shoot that show with her, it's been like what's that saying?
Full circle.
It's like
That's what I meant. Like, isn't that crazy?
It's like a full circle moment happening in my life. It's like I have a reset to do something else all over again.
Well, it reminds me, sorry not to cut you off, but you know how everyone was going back to 20.
Listen, that's the energy. That is the energy. I know Shanice is about to talk about 2016, 2025, and 2026. You probably experienced some type of full circle moment. I know I did. I had so many full circle moments. Like all of a sudden, my life started to make sense because girl, it was a hot ass damn mess. 2016 was a hot ass mess. Before 2016 was a hot ass mess. Hell, my life started turning around probably 2020 after the pandemic, which was kind of weird. That's when my life really started to turn around was after the pandemic. So by 2025, there should be some full circle moments happening in your life. Maybe some things coming up from the past that you may be able to revisit and maybe do things differently. I know that I had that experience with my parents when they came to visit me. That was a full circle moment because my parents were not happy with me about my life and my choices, and then they now are in support of me. So it's very weird to have their support. I don't even know how to receive their support. I'm still struggling with that as I speak right now. So I don't know. It's just a lot of full circle moments, things coming up from the past that are resurfacing, and people, depending on, the situation, they may want to show up differently and do things differently now. So seems like that's been going on a lot in the collective.
2016.
Yeah.
Like that's what it reminds me of. Like we're now in a year number 1. It's
Yeah.
like a new beginning.
It was first of all, seeing her on the Tamron Hall show was so great. And talking to her after was even better, you know. And of course, we talked about the show. And one of the things that I told her privately, I said, I feel like the old me and the new me are always in a battle when I'm shooting Basketball Wives. And I was like, but Iyanla, I was like, but this is like work for me.
To be honest, and this is just me being a mentor coach, most people go back. I'm sorry. Uh, everyone can't be the Brittany Renners or the Imani Talks or the Alexis Skies. And there's another name I want to throw out here, but I'm not going to say no names. They want to perform growth. It just doesn't happen like that. Honestly, as slow as Evelyn's growth is, and she still has a lot more growth to do, honestly, Evelyn is true to herself. She is. She's not hiding who she is. Like, she still has a lot of growth to do. But honestly, this is what real growth looks like. It's sad that it's taken her this long, and it's probably because she waited later in life. I'm sure I haven't seen it, but the episode with was it Ayana Fix My Life? I'm pretty sure that episode out of or when she did that probably happened after Carl. Or was it after Ocho Cinco? I think it was after Ocho Cinco. So she probably ran back to what she was familiar with. A lot of women do that. People, we tend to go back to what we're familiar with before we really truly implement the change. And I'm pretty sure she probably ran to Carl. That situation didn't work out. And then she was like, all right, let me face myself. And she's still going through the process of change. It's not going to happen overnight, y'all. It's not going to happen overnight at all. I think that some of your faves, no shade, but they be coming on here and they be performing growth. That they be performing awakenings. They perform um finding God. Like it's just a performance. It's not real. People who really do change, they're gonna go back to what they're familiar with a few times. It is what it is. It's kind of similar to a woman leaving an abusive relationship. They tend to go back a few times. But it doesn't mean that they're not growing. You can maybe even say at the pace she's going is kind of slow, and it is slow. I'm gonna just be honest. It's very slow. But it seems like Evelyn really struggles with leaving and letting go. I mean, look how she's reacting to Basketball Wives. Listen to what she said about how she was still doing the show even though she felt like she was in between two identities. So that's something that she struggles with. She struggles with letting go. She struggles with moving on. She struggles with starting new. She struggles with that. A lot of people do. So it's no shade, and I'm not the biggest Evelyn fan, but honestly, I could say that there is some growth in her. Could it be more? Absolutely. But at least she's not faking it. And I would rather see a woman take her time like this than to see a woman fake it. And that's just my honest opinion. I would rather see a woman run back, fumble a few times, and then see her really commit to growth. That's what I would rather see because that's real to me. But that performative growth stuff that I be seeing on social media, I'm tired of seeing that. I want to see real growth. Um, and listen, a lot of people are saying there's no growth, there's no growth. Um, I don't I this is why we haven't really seen Evelyn with any man. And to me, that says a lot to me. Cuz who is she dating? We don't even know. She's always dating somebody. So the type of growth that I think you're looking for is like this person, I think you're looking for a Angela White. No, it's not that type of. It's very it's micro. But we haven't seen her. Who is she dating? And then this situation with her losing Basketball Wives, I think it's going to be a test because she doesn't have Basketball Wives. Is she going to run back and try to find a guy, a man, some type of athlete, rapper? Because typically, when you're triggered like this, you tend to run back and go and do what you feel comfortable and familiar with. So we'll see. It seems like she's being tested right now too, with her losing basketball wives and things like that. I'm sorry, but people are saying she's ran through. Men are easy. Selena Powell, men still deal with her. And if I'm keeping it all the way real, it will not be hard for Evelyn to get with a black man. So please, please, please save it. Okay, please save it. She still looks good. She's in shape. She takes care of herself. She can easily get with another black man. It won't be hard. No shade. It's just the truth. And we've seen that with Selena Powell. So I mean, tell me I'm lying. Just Yanni, you lie. You lie. You lie. No, I'm not. I'm just telling you the truth. We seen the Selena Powell. Selena done been with how many men? How many black men? And they still giving her access. Brittany Renner's another one. Who's that man that she had on her podcast? Do you know? Oh, wait. His name was Rashad from Atlanta. He owns his own production company. Men are easy. So she's being tested. The men are not being tested. The men, they don't test themselves. But she's being tested because she's trying to grow. So is she going to run back to what's familiar? Or is she going to stay steadfast on this path that she's trying to choose for herself by not running back to what's familiar? So she is. She's being spiritually tested.
For me, and she got it. She gets it. She's like, I understand. And she said, when one
Oh,
door closes, another door opens. And I was just like, man, it's crazy how this is all happening, but it was so great seeing her doing Tamron Hall and I just feel like time is just going by so fast and just talking about my appearances on Yana Fix My Life, which is now back on OWN. But it was great, it's definitely a full circle moment with her. It was happy to see her. I was happy to see her. She sent me positive vibes this morning, and yeah, it's all in alignment. I
It's
feel like
wild.
it's so wild. I'm like, what is happening? What is happening?
Something.
But I'm happy. Like a part of me also feels like you guys get to see the real Evelyn, right? Like Leo, Blaze, my friends, people that are around me. But I want the world, and not that anybody's opinion matters, but it kind of does for me. Like people have always known me as a villain, and I'm like, no, I want this season, like I want you to see the real Evelyn, and that's important to me, for my legacy, everything that I've worked on,
do I think Evelyn is trying to grow? Yes, I do, y'all. I know it's an unpopular opinion. I know it's unpopular. Do I think she's trying? Yes. Yes. And I want to use her, as problematic as she is. I want to use her as an example of what it looks like to grow and to struggle in it. Y'all think growth is easy? It's not, especially when you're addicted to things like money, a lifestyle, attention, fame, and status. I mean, y'all expect for this woman to be a saint overnight? Hell no. She has some addictions. She's addicted to certain patterns, emotionally, materialistically. I mean, this is what it really looks like. Okay, this is just what it really truly looks like. So I'm the reason I'm using Evelyn as an example is because the most problematic people can grow if they choose to. And it may not be an Angela White experience or path or journey, but she is. She's doing a little something. She's doing a little something. It ain't much. It's not much, but it's a little something. But she got a long way to go. That's all I'm gonna say. She got a long way to go, but she is doing a little something.
when God comes calling for me, that people are like, you know what, she was a little cray cray, but she got better, and that they see that and they know that.
And I think that when we shoot this, I see a lot of those comments too that Lisa sends, like, we're happy to see the real Evelyn. And
Yeah.
so I think it's happening.
Yeah, I think it's happening, and it's good because there's so much out there throughout the journey of basketball.
And see, that's why I'm saying that. See, this is why I'm saying she's being tested because she went back to Basketball Wives after she had her reality TV show on Oprah's network. And she's being tested again. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a pattern that's happening. Is she gonna break this pattern or is she gonna repeat it? Is she gonna continue it? Because she went back and then they pulled the rug from under her. This is all spiritual lessons, y'all. She went back, they pulled the rug from under her, and now she has to kind of find her landing. It could be this podcast, and she could get into the podcast from a place of reflection and growth as in the way Shanice is promoting the new season, or there could be a test that comes in where she's tested, where she may run back to what she's familiar with, which is reality TV. And it could be Zeus Network. Because I have a feeling they could reach out to her and try to reboot Basketball Wives. We've seen it. We have seen it. So she could easily be tested, y'all. That's why I'm like, hold. Okay, let's pump the brakes here for a sec. All right. So I feel like she's in this cycle. Will she restart the cycle? Remember, everyone keeps saying, oh, it's just like it's 2016 all over again. Zeus could be reaching out to her to see if she'll start this cycle again. I mean, who had a Zeus reality TV show? It was Tia Kemp. So it's not like they're trying to get away from older women. No. They want the older women on Zeus Network. They want the problematic ones. Evelyn is that. So you had Tia Kemp, you had Tokyo Tony, you had Blueface's mom. So no, I think she's going to be tested, and Zeus Network could be reaching out to her soon. So is she going to choose this new identity with this podcast with her daughter that's promoting, growth and reflection and renewal? Or is she going to run back to Zeus or just an old pattern, right? And do what she's always done, what she's familiar with. So this is what growth really truly looks like, y'all. And you will be tested and there will be temptations. And I think that Zeus Network may be her temptation, may be her spiritual test. So we'll see. Only time will tell.
Wives that, people will remind you of,
I know.
they'll remind you of it, and you're like, that happened 10 years.
She literally could start the new generation of Basketball Wives on the Zeus Network. I mean, I could see it. I could really see that happening. She's well connected in the industry. She could pull some girls together.
Years ago, but I've evolved, but sometimes people are stuck in that space, like, oh, she did this and that, and I'm like,
Because Shani can't do it. Shani can't do it because she's the first lady. Because that would look crazy. And I think the church called her out on what she decided to put out here on her own show. But listen, we'll see. We'll see what she chooses in the end. That will tell me if she's really grown. I'm not that confident, but she has grown a little bit. But has she really grown though? And that temptation is going to tell me everything that I need to know.
okay, I
That's
did.
okay. That's a
Yeah.
reflection of where they are and what they want to think about.
Yeah.
It's like,
So, it's good. It's all good.
good.
Seeing her 12 years later, it was definitely surreal. But even like prior to me walking out on Tamron Hall, they had a clip of the show. And I even said this on Tamron. I'm like, when I watch those clips, I haven't watched those episodes and I won't, because I feel like energetically it puts me back into that space. But I feel sad for her, and I also feel proud of her. So it's like when I watch those old episodes, because they had clips of us meeting prior to getting married to Chad and then after. And it's just it's crazy, because I look at it and I'm like, who is that? Like, it's me, but I'm so not that person today. So it's a weird feeling, but I'm proud of who I am today. So not many people can see where they were 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean?
I
Like,
feel weird looking at the clips too, by the way.
huh?
I feel weird looking at the same clips.
Do
of
you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just look so young and like not too
And listen, it's a good sign. This is a good sign that it's hard for her to look back at old clips of herself. That's a good sign that she is changing, that she is growing. It may not be at the level that we would want her to be, obviously, because I'm critiquing this whole sit down. But if she's having a hard time looking at how she presented herself to the public on a show, how she behaved, that is somewhat of a sign that she's growing. Now, is it in or to the level in which she is really ready to make real change in her life? Who knows? But it is a good start, that she can't stand to look at old clips. She doesn't want to be put back in that energetic space where she can connect to that energy, she can resonate with that energy. So it is a good sign. However, isn't enough though. That's the thing. It's like you can experience growth, but is it truly enough to break the pattern within your life? So I think people think growth just looks this one way and then that's it. But growth has stages. It literally has stages. Look at a plant. And when you plant that plant from seeds, there's stages of growth in that. First of all, you have to grow roots. And I feel like right now, when it comes to Evelyn, when it comes to her growth, she's still at the roots. I don't even feel like she's sprouting yet. And that's just my opinion. But growth, it comes in stages. And I just feel like she's still in the soil and she's still forming those roots. And she hasn't really created a solid foundation yet within this new identity, within her growth journey. She's still at the beginning stages, but there's some sprouting. It's just not much. And when I say sprouting, it's just at the roots. That's it.
I mean, like broken a little bit.
Of course, I was.
Yeah, you know, so I feel like not weird. I don't want to, not weird. Weird's not the right word. I feel hurt looking at the clips. Like I don't
Yeah.
want to see it. You know what I mean? And so when I
Ooh.
look at it, I'm like, you were like young. You were like a little bit older than what I am now, and
Yeah.
just like kind of like it was a broken feeling, you know. And I think even filming our show, and we film with Welly, and we have all these conversations. You really get into who the person is
Yeah.
more than it did on Basketball Wives, you
Right.
know, and the experiences. But
Right.
yeah, I don't like looking at them either.
Yeah, it's tough. So imagine if it's tough for you to look at them, it's tough for me to look at them. Especially because there was so much going on. Of course I was broken. I was, at the time I was being physically abused, and it was a tough situation to deal with. When I first met Iyanla, I was hiding what was happening. I what was I going to tell her? My life and my relationship was so public at the time, so I wasn't going to tell her that I'm meeting Iyanla Van Zant. But she knew. She knew. At the end of the episode, she said, "You're in trouble." And I'm thinking, yeah, okay, girl, you don't know what you don't know what you're talking about, and she did, so that's why I ended up doing that second interview after everything happens. But yeah, it's definitely hard to watch. But then I'm also proud of her. I'm proud of her. But I will say I'm not going down YouTube trying to find those videos. I'm
No,
not.
we're gonna
I may have to go find them and see what she's talking about.
save that.
No,
All right, so we're gonna go move on to a lighter note that I want to discuss with you.
I know. I feel like I've been crying this whole
It's okay.
episode.
Tears are good. You know, when I was
You know
younger,
what? I don't even remember the last time I cried, so that's good.
it's just so what people don't realize is like tears, it doesn't always mean sadness. It's just like a flow of energy,
Yeah.
just pouring out, you know. And so I learned to like be okay with crying whenever the hell you want to cry.
Yeah.
But there's something I want to talk about.
What?
I want to talk about, you know, there's something happening,
What?
and it's very serious.
It's very serious.
Our times are in a sex recession.
Yeah, I believe it.
What do you think about this sex recession?
So is everybody in it? Because I thought it was just
The
me.
collective.
So that's another sign that Shanice, Evelyn, I'm sorry, Evelyn is not sexually active. So that's another sign. And listen, real growth takes you preserving your sexual energy and just your energy in general so that you can pour into yourself so that you can grow. So that's another sign, y'all. Now listen, is it major growth? No, but there is some in there because we literally seen this woman hop from man to man, bed to bed. Okay, she talking about cobwebs. I'm like, cobwebs, girl, you ain't got no damn cobwebs. I know what cobwebs look like, girl. You ain't got no cobwebs. But if she truly is reframing from sexual activity, then that could be another sign that she is growing a little bit. It may not be a lot, but we'll see. Only time will tell.
No, babe,
thought it was just
the
me.
collective. We are in a time of a sex recession. And that, in my opinion, is very bad.
Why?
What do you mean? Why?
Because it's okay not to have sex.
And I think there's a deeper meaning here. I feel like the times, like people as a collective, were lacking enjoyment, intimacy, face to face, quality time. Like I
Yeah.
think it surpasses sex. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
I think as a whole, it's like we're lacking connection.
Mhm.
Connection would be the right word.
Okay.
Like what was my question on that? But it's bad.
It's bad. But
It's very bad. I don't agree. Also, I feel like Instagram is to blame.
Well, I think so.
Okay, I agree with what Shanice is trying to say. I think she's trying to say that the collective is going through a period of disconnection. But this is what I know everyone likes to take the doomsday approach when it comes to these conversations, but maybe the disconnection is needed though. It's needed for us to rediscover, redefine. I mean, the dating scene is a hot ass damn mess. Have you been out there? Because I haven't. Girl, I ain't been out there. You can't even pay me to go on a date. I'm not about to waste my time. It's just, with Valentine's Day coming up, I mean, I don't think that there's a recession just on sex. I think that there's a disconnect. And I think the disconnect may be collectively intentional and needed for us to rediscover, redefine, repurpose why we're connecting to another person to begin with and really regroup. That's what I think. I don't think it's terrible at all that we are kind of, because I talked to a few girls. I've even talked to men. There are a lot of people that are just not dating right now. I don't know how many people I talk to, and every time you bring up dating, they get hell no. And I'm like, damn. And then it's bad when the men are complaining too. The men are complaining. They're like, it's so bad. So I think people that are in a space of being intentional with connecting to people, I just don't think that we're dating right now. I think that we are taking a step back to rediscover. We're taking a step back to align. We're taking a step back to really just redefine why are we dating? What's the reason we're putting ourselves out there? I think that's what's going on. And I personally do not think it's a bad thing. I think the collective is becoming a little bit more emotional intelligent when it comes to connecting to other people in a romantic way. Because if you are aware that, okay, I keep bumping into the same type of people, I'm having the same type of experience, and your intelligence emotionally is telling you, take a step back, let's just regroup, focus on ourselves, then that tells me collectively a lot of people are becoming more emotionally intelligent when it comes to connecting romantically. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I actually think that it's necessary. It may not be socially what is normal, but I mean, I think it's, I mean, what were we gonna do? We was just gonna keep putting ourselves out there and getting put through the ringer and then coming back having trauma. Then we're gonna have to heal and redo it all over again. So I think there's like a cleanse. I like that. Some type of collective cleanse that's happening. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, we just came out of the snake year. There was a lot of shedding that took place, and we haven't really stepped into the new year yet. So I think it's collectively necessary. I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
Social media as a whole is to
I
blame.
agree. So you agree with that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that. But I thought the sex recession, I thought I was the only one in it.
No. There's
By
others.
choice, but like I always put that disclaimer out there, but it's definitely like by choice. But yeah, I didn't know everybody was going through.
No.
And I think it's important that she highlighted by choice, because sometimes when you take a step back from dating or you stop dating, people think that it's not by choice. It's because you can't find a date, you can't find a man, you can't find a woman. No, it's not hard finding a date and it's not hard finding a man. And I'm pretty sure it's not hard for some of these men that are being intentional. It's not hard for them to find a woman, but it's just you're being intentional about connecting. And it's like you not finding people that are on your level at all. So we're just gonna take a step back. And there's nothing wrong with that. And then some of us took a step back because we were working on ourselves. And then we stepped forward and we was like, so this is what they doing out here. So this is what they doing. This is how they date now. That's crazy. So some of us took a step back to work on ourselves, and then we decided to take a step forward and we said, "Ooh, you know what? Catch me next time, cuz this ain't it." So I think that's what happened. There's a shift that's happening. I feel like it's necessary. It's long overdue. The dating scene is a mess. Everything and everyone is trying to get what they can get out of the next person. There's time for a cleanse, a detox, a redefine, repurposing that needs to take place within the dating scene. So a cleanse, something, because it got extremely bad. It was extremely bad, y'all. Was it not extremely bad? I mean, once you go extreme and you're extreme, where else you gonna go? You have to pull back. It's kind of similar to, that's why I love collective energy, because it's kind of similar to, are you seeing how girls are taking out their BBLs? They're taking out their boobs, they're removing their implants, they're taking out their lace fronts. Now the girls are wanting to wear their real hair, or at least have their real hairline showing. Girls are cutting their nails back. I mean, one thing I notice about collective energy, and just historically, once you go extreme, then you tend to go back to being simple. So things are just more simplistic. So I feel like there's a restart, and it's aligning with the fact that 2026 is cycle one. So it just makes sense to me. I don't think that it's a bad thing at all. I just think it's just the cycle that we're currently in. So I think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
Oh, it's a common thing where like no one's really having sex or like having intimate moments or connection.
Yeah.
And I do think that like well, social media, but mainly Instagram. Don't look at me like that. Mainly Instagram, because you get on there, you get all these cheap dopamine hits, and it's like, okay, it's like porn.
Really?
Yes. Like soft porn.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah,
I
it's a
must
thing.
be.
Weird.
I must view things differently.
No one's connecting.
No, obviously, or people are. I don't know.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
do you
I'm
think
not the one
people
to
are more
really.
intentional? Are being more intentional? Do you think people are healing? Do you think people are?
I feel like people are more intentional these days.
I think so.
Think about like the 70s and 80s. Everybody was like doing coke and fucking everybody. Think about it.
Well, now everyone's
I
in their
feel-
phones and no one's talking to each other.
Or maybe there's so much information out there that people are just like freaked out about just anything, or they're like, you know what, I'm better by myself. Because there is a lot of information.
That's true too. I mean, people are afraid of everything, and it's not even dating. It's food too. People are afraid to eat. People are afraid to, they're like, should I use this cleaner? This cleaning product is toxic. This is toxic. Girl, do you not understand? They saying organic produce is toxic. So I'm like, so what we supposed to eat then? Everything is toxic. Nothing makes any sense. So I think people are becoming a little more intentional, because it just seemed like everything bad. So it's like, well, if everything bad, then what can we eat? What can we do? Can we do anything?
Information out there versus like 30 years ago.
But do you think people are so focused on their own evolution that they're not having like a connection with someone else?
But if they're happy with their own evolution, right? And they're
I don't think that people are focused on their own evolution. I think people are reverting to focus on their own evolution, because nothing is progressing in the area of making romantic connections with other people. So what else you're gonna do? You just gonna keep pouring into an empty cup, or you're gonna go back and revert to pouring back into yourself? Because that's just what makes sense.
fine not being intimate and having sex and having those commitments. I think everybody's different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Like
like
Leo, for
That
instance.
too.
I asked him, this, not that he's in a, just I'm
Please,
asking him a
Lord.
question. So he has like, you know, you have friends, your little girlfriend or whatever. I had asked him, they text all the time. And I said, do you guys ever talk on the phone? Because when I was preteen, I would want to talk on the phone, and I would go to sleep with my phone right next to me, because we wanted to sleep together. You know what I mean? And till the morning, and you hang up
Yeah.
the phone. He's not doing that. They're just
I'm
texting.
happy he's not.
Mom, that's weird.
No, it's not. I'm
That is
happy he's not.
weird. So they're just texting. They're not hearing each other's voices or nothing. It's just like robotic.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want him going to sleep with nobody on the phone.
When I was a teenager, I was going to sleep with my boyfriend on the phone.
Yeah,
You never did that? Everyone's done that.
oh,
Because you don't want to hang up, and it's like, okay, we'll just fall asleep.
oh God.
You never did that? Have you done that? Yes. Everyone has done that. And so you're just breathing, and then 4 hours later, the call ended. You never did that? Well, you're a baby boomer. No wonder why.
We didn't have phones back then. God
Like a
damn it.
baby boomer?
We didn't have phones. You know what kind of phones we had? I'm not a fucking baby boomer.
I don't know, but there's
I thought she was a Gen Xer.
2 things I wasn't made for.
But we didn't have phones like that back in the day that you could sleep. Cell phones didn't come out until what? I had you at 17. It was like 94.
You proved my point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do feel like
We used to meet at the park,
we used to meet at the park,
and
Yeah.
I used to fall asleep on the phone,
Mhm.
and Leo's just texting on TikTok.
I think it's social media, and
Exit on.
All right.
there's so much out there. I
my
think
God.
that's
So
the-
do you think there needs to be a change, or
it's not going to change. It's just going to get worse. You have AI now. Now people are in relationships with AI. Think about that shit.
that's weird?
It is weird. I agree. I mean, a sex recession. Okay, if people are kind of choosing to focus on other things. I get that. You know, it's like sex isn't the end all be.
Are we in a sex recession? Are we really in a sex recession? You know, I've been abstinent since when Roe versus Wade overturned? When did that happen? 2022? Yeah, I think that was the year right before my niece was born. hmm Girl, after Roe versus Wade overturned, I couldn't participate in casual anything because I'm like, Roe versus Wade overturned. So I've been abstinent since then. So are we in a SMEX recession? Let me know. Comment down below. Are you in a recession? I wouldn't call it a recession. I would call it me just being intentional because y'all, it's the first of all, it's the worst time to get pregnant, it seemed like. It's the worst time to get pregnant. And then now you don't have any real agency either. So that's another thing. It just doesn't seem like it's a great time to get pregnant. The systems in place are so unpredictable and you don't really know what to expect anymore. So it just seems like it's just the worst time to get pregnant. It's the worst time to have smacks. It's just the worst time to do anything. It's like pause. Let's just sit in reflection because nothing makes sense right now. Nothing. School don't make sense. Work don't make sense. The government don't make sense. The transportation industry don't make sense. I just bought a ticket home. I buy my ticket. Then they talking about, because I normally fly home Southwest. And then I buy my ticket and they talking about, oh, you have to pay a $35 check-in, check bag fee. Since when? I thought I paid that when I bought the ticket. Nothing makes no sense anymore. I'm like, and then we just going through the motions. Sports don't make sense. Hell, that shit seemed rigged as hell. I mean, I so nothing makes sense no more. Social media don't make sense. Social media don't make sense at all to me. I mean, what are we doing on here? It just seems like we on here being distracted. We need to be outside protesting or doing something because nothing makes sense. And then we got weird people running the government. I and you think I trust them? Girl, hell no, I don't trust them. Mm-mm. I don't trust them. And then the celebrities are acting weird. I mean, nothing makes sense right now. Nothing at all. And it seems like all the systems that are in place are just not predictable. You can't rely on, you shouldn't rely on. Now I feel, am I the only one that feels like I've always felt a little hesitant about trusting the system, but I really don't trust it now. You don't trust it now. So I don't know. It's like we all just sitting around like some sitting ducks, just waiting for the next shoe to fall. That's what it feel like. So I think a SMEX recession, that's the tip of the iceberg.
Be all the time, right? But that is weird. Like being
The
in a
Epstein
relationship with an AI
files.
person that you're never seeing, or I don't know. I'm old school.
Yeah. Well, there's two things I wasn't made for: jail
Mhm.
and the sex recession.
Yeah, those are the only two things.
Like jail
And the sex, but there's plenty of other things. But okay, those are the main things. All right. All right. Well, listen, we've had a great conversation.
Listen, I could do a SMEX recession if I'm avoiding pregnancy. Yeah, I can stand very strong in my choice to not engage in any sexual activity if I'm avoiding pregnancy. I mean, it's not hard for me. You better pull out the rose. You better do some. Pull out the rose, some, because that's crazy to me. And it's crazy. Shanice, and that's why Shanice is not innocent, y'all. Do I feel bad for her? Absolutely. But Shanice is she not innocent. She not. Did her mother fail her in ways? Absolutely. But at some point, girl, you 32 years old, you just had a kid, and you talking about upset about a SMEX recession? That's crazy. I'm not even upset about that. Cause you want to know why I'm not upset about that? Every time I look around, they just creating single mothers. So me being a SMEX recession, that don't bother me at all. Cause I'm like, well, another year where I'm dodging pregnancy. That's all I'm thinking about. So for her to have a baby, and the baby, what, just turned 1 year old, and you up here talking about I wasn't prepared for a SMEX recession. Girl, are you creating some type of cat call in this live stream, this podcast episode with your mother, hoping that some man slide in your DMs to top you off? Because that's what it's giving, sis. That's what it's giving. It's like, girl, the way you behaving, it seems like you don't mind being a single mother. You may end up in the same situation for a second time. She needs to take some time out to really sit with herself for a while. And she needs to get to a point in her, it seems like her forced abstinent journey that she's currently on. She needs to embrace it because it comes with peace. And she needs to embrace that part of it because it seems like Evelyn is doing that.
Okay, well, so that was a wrap for episode 2 in our new studio. And yeah, follow, subscribe, write a comment, let us know what we should talk about moving forward. Any ideas?
Yes, we would love to know what are some topics that you want us to touch on, because sometimes I see talk about beauty or like let us know, because we look at the comments, we read them, we share them with each other. So, but yeah, thank you so much for supporting Drop the Low. A lot of tears today, a lot of tears, but there's a lot happening, and it's okay. Like Shah said, it's okay to cry.
Let it flow. Oh my God, next week's episode is gonna be fun.
Yeah, we're not going to tell you who's going to be here, but it's going to be fun. So make sure you check in. Okay, love you guys. We got to go be moms now. Bye. Share them with each other.
I don't know, y'all. Like, I would be so exhausted with kids. How could you even get hot between the legs, moist? You got to go take care of that kid. You got to pick them up, drop them off. It's a lot. I probably get irritated. It's kind of like when you get on your menstrual cycle and you see a man and you get instantly upset and disgusted. That's how I would feel. I don't get I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm not understanding your super chat. Hold on. Let me read the super chat again because I'm not understanding the super chat. Oh, just get 8. See, I said this in my last live that sometimes it's better to bump kitty cats with another woman over being a sister, wife, or baby mama. Don't shoot the messenger. You need your cat to be scratched that bad. Maybe you should go get with a sister. Maybe you need to go find you a woman and let her scratch you, since it's that bad. Since you're going through some type of SMEX recession, let her scratch it, and then you move on with your life, and you can avoid pregnancy. I mean, come on. There's a way around it. Y'all act like y'all gotta use men for everything. You don't gotta use them for everything. You're not trying to get pregnant. You talking about he just eat it. Then the next thing you know, he gonna be like, let me just put the tip in. You don't have to deal with that with the woman. I'm just saying, if it's that bad, you need it scratched that bad, go get you a woman and call it a day. That's all I got to say, y'all. Please give the video a thumbs up. Let me know what else you would like for me to talk about, and I will catch you in my next one.
This is my opinion. I'm free to state my opinion anytime I like, right? Thank you.
I don't want you to feel like that, but yeah, feel like that.
This is my opinion. I'm free to state my opinion anytime I like, right? Thank you.
I don't want you to feel like that, but yeah, feel like that.